where culture meets context. The river is long, does it rise and go where culture meets context. The river is long, does it rise and go where culture meets.
What is good, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to the Realist Lounge. I am your host, Shannon Nicole. We are here with some amazing guests. But first, of course, you know I got to introduce my co-host, which is Unapologetically G. We got Fu at the bottom. Say what's up, y'all.
What's up, everybody?
All right. Now, thank y'all so much for joining us again. We have some amazing guests. Let me go ahead and let them introduce themselves. We're going to start with my gentleman to the right. Go ahead, Kevin. Tell them about yourself and tell them where they can find you. Also,
Kevin
tell
G.
them what you all do, because I know you all have some really amazing accolades, and that will give you the right to be able to talk about this conversation, because we just opinionists. We just live through it, but I'm quite sure that you all know a little bit more about it than we do. So go ahead and tell them about yourself.
Presently, I'm a lobbyist in DC for Right Turn Strategy. I've owned several boutique companies. Our family and we're in housing development and political and politics, of course, everybody knows that. But I have a long, rich history in community economic development, government affairs. We have been doing things to rebuild our community between both families for decades. And I think one of the things we have to start focusing on is how do we rebuild our cities and how do we rebuild our communities, but how do we focus on our morals and principles and values that will really lead us to some real sustainable change outside of using politics as the gateway for that, but to look at family and look at how we can consciously rebuild ourselves as a family and as a community. I think one of the things I learned over the last 4 years as I traveled all around the country, I think I've been to 59 cities, maybe 45 states, rural America, suburban America. You know, I've had broad conversations with people everywhere, and we're all saying the same thing. It's time to break away. It's time to stay single focused. And I think that shows like this, and I've been watching your show, I think this is a part of the change that's occurring that people are not paying attention to, but it's really happening. And I thank you for inviting me on your show.
Well, thank you for... Shoot, I'm at a loss of words.
Yeah.
The resume is amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us. And we have Tammy at the bottom. Nurse Tammy, is that correct?
Yes, it is. And I'm also a nurse of many talents. I have been in the nursing field for 35 years now, this month actually. Mostly bedside nursing, but I have done home health, travel, sales, consulting. I have found that consulting is where I am headed at this point. I have learned so much, especially with the past few years with everything that has happened. And like Kevin, I want to see us rebuild a healthier America, more family and spiritually oriented, because that is what's missing. That's why people are so sickly, and that's why they're so gullible. If we stand together, we can fight together.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad that you touched on family. I'm so glad that both of you all touched on family and community, because I really truly believe that this conversation, it will pretty much let us know what exactly broke those things up. Because I truly feel as if, especially, you know, with the political climate, I think that we've become a little bit more divided as opposed to the community actually being together. No matter who you voted for, we should still be able to look at each other as human beings. And if we are relatives, as family. And I think that we've lost that somewhere along the line. But thank you all so much for joining. You thank Tammy for coming in. Okay, we got our favorite. He been here like, at this point, you're part of the family, bro. You're part of the family.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all so much. Dang, tell them who
I
you
love
are.
because I love y'all, man. I love the vibe that y'all bring, the energy that's here. Food, Tiff. I mean, I love the vibe here. So as long as y'all, you know, extend the olive branch to me, I certainly will accept it. But for those of y'all who don't know or just meeting me, my name is Mark the Model. You can find me on your TikTok page. I'm going to Mark the Model, or also go on the Model Citizen Show. I'm a man of many hats. I've done a lot of different things. I'm currently a transmission specialist for your local power company down here in Texas. I won't mention the name for obvious reasons, but That's what I do currently, but I've done everything from logistics, from being a licensed insurance agent to a freelance model. I mean, I've basically just walked in a lot of different pathways. I've lived in a lot of different places. I used to live in Germany, and I've lived in a few different states here in the United States. And I've seen a lot, I've talked to a lot, and the main thing that worries a lot of people who I've interacted with is with the two other people who I just mentioned earlier, is about family and how their family is being impacted, whether it's positive or negatively, considering everything that's going on and the events that have happened since a certain line of demarcation. We won't say what until the lovely host reveals what it is, but that's just kind of the sentiment that I'm gathering, that people are just worried about their family. So from my perspective, that's my number one thing, making sure that my family is taken care of and making sure that your family is taken care of.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We are family. We all about family, unity, community, America first, right? This is what we here for. We want America to heal. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like 2020, we didn't really fully heal from what our country experienced. I mean, like, we've experienced so many different things in this country, different wars. We had, 9/11 that took place. But I don't know if you all noticed that when it came to 9/11, we actually came together as a country around that time. We kind of knew in a way who our enemies was at that time. But I feel like that right now we don't know who our enemies are. We don't know how we got to this point to where we can't recognize our enemies. We don't understand why certain people are okay with the fact that even our enemies have been able to infiltrate our government, have been able to dangle certain things in our faces to look this way when we should be looking this way. So this conversation right now is just going to cover how retailers, how spirituality, how religion, family, social media, how the hot sauce, we're going to call it the hot sauce, y'all. You know what the hot sauce is? It's the vaccination, the thing that they shot up in y'all, and y'all didn't know what the hell it was. We're going to talk about how that has possibly changed America. And we're going to see if maybe we could figure out if we can heal from it, if there's any way that we could get past this, or if right now we just gotta deal with how the chips fall, right? I don't know that. I'm a believer that we can heal from it. I'm a believer. I'm a Libra. I look at things from both sides. So I just try to think that maybe there's some way that we could all come together and be like, you know what? We might need to just cut the TV off for a little bit, cut CNN off, cut Fox off, cut all of that shit off, because really they're all feeding us the same narratives that we should hate each other, that we should look at each other based on our race, that we should look at each other based on our political party, and we should not pay attention to anything else aside from those things which are dividing our country even more. So let's see if we can help America heal this evening. First off, we're going to start with a segment that we like to call Fresh Off the Press, and this is when my lovely co-hosts actually bring to the forefront some things that they may have seen throughout the week that they may feel as if our people want to listen, our people want to hear about. I'm gonna start with you, Fu. What you see this week that we need to know about, man?
I literally saw it before I logged in. New Oregon law removes reading, writing, and math requirements to help students of color. Are you fucking serious?
Say what now?
New Oregon law removes reading, writing, and math requirements to help students of color. What you just think of just that? This is 2026. This is literally 2026.
Wow. Wait, I gotta look this up, because I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I don't believe it. So you're saying that there is a law that is specifically for
that? Let me finish.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
In a move that's sparking nationwide outrage, Oregon just extended its controversial policy, eliminating the requirements for students to prove they can read, write, or do basic math to graduate high school now through 2028. Lawmakers claim it helps students of color, but critics are calling a total surrender of education standards. While proficiency rates remain embarrassingly low, graduation rates are artificially pumped up. Welcome to America. That right there sums up right there what we're dealing with. And guess what? Their parents actually vote. They've accepted this, and their parents vote. Welcome to America. Twilight Zone 2026.
Did they just like overturn this? Was this something that they just recently voted on?
Nah. Just extended its controversial policy. That's what I'm saying. So this has been going on in Oregon. This ain't nothing new.
It's not new. This particular law actually covered the classes of 22, 23, and 24. So Jerome is saying Fu is saying basically that it's been extended. Now go back to Rockefeller. Back in the early 1900s, he developed the public school education system because he wanted a nation of workers, not thinkers. This is just a continuation of something that was started over 100 years ago.
But Tammy, let's notice how what I just read plays into the topic of the show, because Tammy just said 2022 and 2023, when these kids were doing homeschooling and all this other BS that they was doing around that time. Now, because they knew the schools was failing around that time, this helps that situation. This is crazy, yo.
Well, this has been a process for decades. This is nothing new. They're just elevating it now, coming out of the COVID cycle. So you have to understand, I mean, if you look at education, I used to be the vice president of Education for Everyone, and we were focused on really creating competition in the marketplace for education. So what you're seeing now is just, it's now being stamped into law now. At first, it was just very subtle, the failure of public schools, even the failure of charter schools now. They're subpar also. They have just become real estate companies at this point. But this has been going on for some time. You're just seeing it openly in Oregon. Oregon was always the epicenter for everything that's bad. We're talking about wokeness, man. Oregon, I've spoken in Oregon like 4 and 5 times. Oregon is a place that is just in reverse. I mean, all of the most radical things. I mean, when it comes to family, when it comes to education, when it comes to anything, they are the most radical in the country outside of California. That's one of the things that I've gotten to see up close and personal. Now, when I was in the Midwest, in the heartland, they were talking about education. In the last couple of years, they kicked out their schools, superintendents and their boards. They're really fighting them there. But in areas like Oregon, because it's such an educated and profound state to live in, a healthy state, they just don't care. You have the most radical people living in Oregon now. This is like the tip of the iceberg. And this thing is not about the people of color. It is about the consistent failure of not just our school system, but our government and our family structure. So there's a lot of positive people in Oregon probably fighting against this. But because of the party that's running that state and the politics that's driving that state and the money that's in that state, they're going to have a really big, a very difficult time fighting back. But this whole notion that this is something that's going to help the people of color, I'm always fascinated by that term because I don't see myself as a person of color. I see myself as a Black man, and a Black man that lives in a community of Black individuals that have high standards and have high values and value community. We've gotten away from that, but you haven't seen the worst of it. I mean, people think that after COVID, that this has all gone away. It was not about that. It was about creating a system of control, controlling your money, controlling your education, controlling your community, controlling what's happening in your homes. So this is not going to stop. So we can elect anybody that we want to elect. This has to be an effort. And I think what's happened in the last 4 years, America has awakened. I mean, at all sectors, America has awakened, and they're not going to stop. These are very demonic people. I've seen them up close and personal. I've been inside their system. I've talked to them. They will never stop. This illiberal, this focused on Marxism and socialism and communism, it's always been in the thread of this country. We just wasn't paying attention to it. So even when you talked about Shannon, when you talked about who we were fighting during 9/11, that was all manufactured too. The military-industrial complex will never stop funding wars and funding the disasters of countries because it's all about resources. So now it's on the shores of this country. See, we never had it in this country so overtly. Now it's overt. Now you see it. And I think a lot of Americans are much smarter than they were before. But now you have this small radical group of young people and small radical group of liberals, illiberals, I call them, that are hell bent on destroying this society and this country. Never mind the Black Americans that are, I call them the new Negro whisperers, that are now focused on helping them to confuse us and have us fighting about race and have us fighting about all of these things that really will bring no more value to you or me at all. I mean, those are not even fights we should be having right now. So they're running out of the they're running out of the race industrial complex. They're running out of the grievance industrial complex. So now they're going to scale it up a lot more, and they're going to keep focused on the things that continue to destroy us as human beings. And that is their primary focus. I mean, I've spent many, many months and many, many days traveling in this country, city to city to city to city. And as I started traveling, I started realizing that America is much smarter than we think they are. Americans are seeing it. First, they didn't know what the CDC was. Second off, they didn't know what the FDA really had become. They didn't know who was driving their government and making decisions. They were oblivious to all of the systems that were manufactured to control our lives, from a propaganda perspective, from an education perspective, from a health perspective, from a community perspective, from a local government perspective. We didn't see it all. And I think when Obama actually changed the Smith-Mundt Act and allowed them to propaganda us even more, I mean, if we didn't have social media and shows like this, we would be destroyed. Social media saved us because we had a bigger conversation. Even locking us in our homes, unfortunately, we started talking to each other over this machine. We're talking to each other now. So people started understanding what the Rockefeller role in education and the Rockefeller role in healthcare. That's why he created all of those organizations to fool us while he was engaged in his diabolical plan. So it's a lot more sophisticated than people think. And this right here, I'm really surprised that, I'm quite sure my friends in Oregon is fighting this. I have to call them and find out. But this is happening in Newark. This is happening in Chicago. But the thing that's so frightening for me is that Black American men and women are pushing this agenda because they don't understand the overall agenda to destroy them and to destroy their families and destroy their values. So I just wanted to give you some perspective on that. So when they say people of color, I'm always fascinated by that term. I think we need to stop using it.
I agree.
I agree. Because I think that, very educated people like to, cross-play and say, color, people of color. I'm still, every time I hear that, I scream in my mind, I'm not a person of color. What is that? But that I know why it was created. It was to water down our nationalism, water down who we are as Black Americans. It was to dilute our power in a way, like we're all people of color. So you can have an Indian Asian, you can have a Tot. Everybody now is a person of color because they get the benefit of doing that. Yeah. But nobody's lived our horror here in this country, which I don't really like to get into that all the time because I buy into the grievous industrial complex and I will not do that.
I mean, I definitely hear you. Great points. I found this article while you all were in regards to what you were talking about. Because see, last week we talked about the education system and how we have a literacy problem in this country. And this is actually an article. Let me see if I can blow it up. I don't think I can blow it up, but this is actually an article from January 2022 from New York, and it speaks about how more than 635 million students remained affected by full or partial school closures. And they knew that we were having a literacy problem then. It said children have lost basic numeracy and literacy skills. Global disruption to education has meant millions of children have significantly missed out on the academic learning they would have acquired if they had been in an actual classroom, with younger and more marginalized children facing the greatest loss. And it specifies low and middle income countries. Learning losses to school closures have left up to 70% of 10-year-olds unable to read or understand a simple text, up from 53% pre-pandemic. So it's showing that our children, and I ain't gonna hold you, some of y'all adults have kind of got a little less educated over the past couple of years because of this pandemic. Now I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Go ahead, Mark, what you got to say?
Isn't this par for the course? When you
You
look
said
back
the same
at
thing last time.
yeah, like when you look back at 2020, right? 2020 was the move where they had the opportunity to go ahead and execute the plan full on. And to me, this has been brewing the whole entire time. When you look at the invention of the internet, when you look at social media, how it's progressed, and as it's progressed, society has digressed.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that in order for the ultimate plan to work, which I believe is a little bit deeper than governments themselves, in order for the ultimate plan to work, you would need a world full of idiots, right? So wouldn't 2020 be a perfect opportunity to wreck the school system completely? I mean, it was already fractured, but to wreck it completely. And now you look at these kids now, they can't read, they can't write, they can't even do simple mathematics. The only thing that they know is their phone. You ask them any question, it's Chat GPT. You ask them to formulate an essay, it's Chat GPT. You ask them to, where is this destination? Where's the capital city of this? They cannot tell you unless their phone is handy. You ask them to do simple mathematics, they can't do it. You say, can you do long division and show your work? They can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that this is by design. When you look at what's being taught in the schools now, they're slowly progressing towards nothingness, where they keep the kids occupied with a bunch of foolishness and wokeism, as I like to call it, and things that will not actually make them competitive nor put them in a position where they could be the builders of our future. They don't want that. They want you to be in a position of control, because once you're in a position of control, you can do exactly what they want you to do. And to me, the plan, like I said, is a little bit deeper than just the government's. I think there's a greater plan. And I think that our government is just a small peg in how all of this works. But again, I don't want to speak too much. I'll let others, have the floor.
What you got to say, G?
That was fine. I think you were right about that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Moving
I wanted to hear
from
from G. Hold on one second, Kevin.
So lawmakers in Michigan are now pushing to have charter school, homeschools, and some private schools register with the state in order for the state to get the funds, because so many adults are taking their children out of public schools. So this just happened this past week and just ties into what we were talking about. And the system itself is just broken. It's just broken. You can buy points on one end for the people that are in classrooms and the same points on the other end for the children that aren't, right? If you don't have the capacity as a parent to teach outside of a classroom, the child fails anyway in society, right? It's just not up to a parent, or it's not up to a teacher, or it's not up to a building to teach your children. But we definitely had better access to better teachers back when we grew up. We had encyclopedias. We had to read to get information. It was a different time, but still in the same, we got to take as a parent, we have to take a little bit more responsibility. But the state is now seeing that since we want to snatch our kids out of the system and they can't get the money, that they're not going to try to make us register with the state schools in order to still get the funds, but give us no benefits.
Wow. To be a parent these days, I take my hat off to y'all. Like, straight up, I only got 2 cats to deal with, and that's enough. Okay. And happy Mother's Day to you, Tammy. Of course, G, if you all are mothers, even if you're a pet mom, happy Mother's Day. Because listen, to be a parent right now got to be like stressful as hell. Like it has to be, especially with dealing with the school system and really wanting the best for your children, because like public school ain't nothing like it used to be when I was coming up. When I was coming up, we still got decent education. We still learned how to write. And then I really can't stand how they make it a color issue, a race issue, as if there's not poor Latinos, poor Black, poor white people that's going to the same schools and getting the same type of education. It doesn't matter what color it is. Are you going to teach the kids or not? I like, that's what I don't like. I don't like when they say, oh, well, we're just going to put the spotlight on low-income Black children or low-income children of color, as if public schools doesn't have a variety of different races that go to the same school and possibly getting the same education. So that it doesn't matter what race they are. Teach the kids.
But
Are you teaching them good? Are you teaching them how to count? Are you teaching them how to read the clock? Because I just saw the other day a white boy couldn't even read the clock.
You see the play though, because as we know, they've been wanting this race war in this country for so long.
Yeah,
It seems like their last resort is to see if they could do it in the schools with the kids, but the kids not having it because they all friends with each other. Like that's the whole. This is the warped mind of a power structure loss, because they doing everything that they can. It's like a last resort. I always say this. It's like watching roaches scramble when the lights come on. That's what we're seeing. And they can't help it because everything they're doing is failing. And the more stuff they do, the more people like, oh shit, I can't believe they've been doing. Their eyes are open to this. And it's driving them crazy that the same playbook ain't working. It's not working. Yeah. So I would say for all of us, because we all do our part, independent media, what they did in 2020, the psyop they pulled, saved this fucking country. Because enough people woke up like, wait a minute, I can't believe this. Did they get a lot of people? Yes, they got a whole bunch of people. But it was the rise of independent media. The rise. And I got to tell y'all, if they decide to do it, it is what it is. I'm so thankful that Kevin is on and we're able to talk. Because at this time, when we had Kevin on, y'all saw that glitch. Y'all just saw the glitch. I don't know if y'all saw it. I just saw a glitch on my end. When we had Kevin on, I had to restart my computer 15 times. 15.
Damn.
Because that's the time of the censorship was so high. So we got to utilize this. I'm so glad you did this topic because it's needed, because people tend to forget the bullshit. I didn't forget nothing. Me and Tammy were literally on Clubhouse with a bunch of other people every day. We were on. This woman was going to work and she was getting on before she was going to work. And then she was on afterwards. This is how serious we were. Because this is a serious fucking topic. And more people need to be talking about it and stop brushing it to the side like it never happened.
And the thing about it, like I was just telling Kevin before you came in, they want us to forget.
Yes.
They want us to forget. That's why they shadow ban when you're having these type of conversations, because they don't want other people to be triggered. Like, damn, I remember that shit. They don't want people to remember how we were bullied to get the hot sauce. They don't want people to remember that more people actually lost their lives after they got it compared to the people that actually, and they don't want us to remember the fact that the same amount of people, the numbers that they were putting on the screen every single day. It's like every single day. You mean to tell me that the number is the same, but you're saying so many people are losing it? I'll literally watch them have the same number on the screen for over 2 weeks.
Yes.
So you mean to tell me that the way that y'all are saying that this is playing out, is it really playing out? And then I'm hearing things that a lot of the ways that they were going about it when it came to actually saving people in these hospitals, it had a lot to do with inflammation, or they were giving them the wrong things. They were giving them, they could have given them Tylenol, or I don't know, Tammy. I got to come to you about this. This is something that I know Tammy would know about.
Before Tammy says this, let me give a disclaimer. Kevin spoke on himself about what he is and what he does. What people remember this. Remember that group, the Disinformation 12? If everybody remembers that name, the people that they banned. Well, it was the Disinformation 12. Only 2 black people on that list. Kevin Jenkins and Rizza Islam. So he was that deep into this game. So if people didn't know that, that's how deep this rabbit hole goes. Go ahead, Tammy.
Oh, it was very, very deep. I'm going to give the credit to a group in Tennessee called Tennessee Liberty Network, and it was a group of parents that wanted to see how all these regulations, especially the mask wearing, social distancing, were going to affect their children in school. So they dug through all the papers, all the paperwork, read page after page after page, and what they discovered was 2 things. Education side. Schools were paid per child for wearing a mask and keeping them socially distanced. They had to have a care plan of how a plan of however they were going to accomplish these goals. Every 6 months, it was reviewed. They were getting thousands of dollars per child to that school. Let's go to the hospital side. Hospitals got paid 8 different ways, from testing for COVID, diagnosing with COVID, admitting with COVID, treating with remdesivir, putting them on a ventilator. And if they happen to die, even they might have had 10 other comorbidities, including stage 4 cancer, they were dying anyways. If the death certificate was signed, it was COVID, they got over $50,000 per patient for that.
So wait a minute. Hold on, Tammy. Hold on. Girl, are you telling me that people who just had pre-existing conditions, let's say that they had a heart attack, or let's say that they had high blood pressure or anything of that such, and they passed away during that time, are you saying that the hospitals were automatically classifying it as C-19?
Yep.
They got paid for it. They were
Yep.
doing it.
Oh my God!
Even if you had car accident, even if you were in a car accident, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
They were coding you. It didn't matter. I mean,
Yes.
first of all, they gave you Remdesivir that prepared your death. And then they vented you, which prepared your death. And then the thing that was so funny, the system that they were putting in place was so diabolical that even families couldn't go into the hospitals to take care of their family members. I mean, I spoke in front of hospitals all around the country trying to get people to go in to look at their loved ones or take care of their loved ones. And so this system was really tight. And if it wasn't for people like yourselves on this show, they would have won. I got to tell you, I have to give credit to a small group of women. I always say a small group of women because they started out as a small group of women, fighting, big pharma as it relates to their kids that were having autism. And this thing, when I first got involved in this, it was about, fighting in the legislatures all around the country that were taking away religious exemptions and really pushing, pushing the V campaign on all of the government, all of the communities around the country. So it was very interesting. I mean, everything that Tammy is saying, it was a very diabolical thing. You can talk about this all day long and it will frighten you. It's the same thing happening right now. They're coming back with it again. But I think what they're seeing now, people are saying, nope, we're not doing that again.
No, we're not.
And I think Bobby Kennedy has a very tough job trying to deal with the politics of Big Pharma and deal with the politics of what we value and what we believe in. And he's walking his fine line. I don't know how long he's going to be able to do that. Because
I agree.
it's a very tough thing for him. And if he's not a politician, he didn't grow up as a legislator. I mean, thank God he didn't, because he would have never taken the risk that he did, or I wouldn't have taken the risk, even though I grew up in the system. But I got to tell you, I think what Tammy is saying, I mean, you just have to think about what they were doing. I mean, they shut us out. They had a game plan. They locked you in your home. They took your money. They took your jobs. They marketed fear. They took your kids and destroyed them. They broke up families. I mean, just think about how serious that was, that how they were prepared, but they weren't prepared, but they took the opportunity when COVID-19 came, and they were moving quickly. And if it wasn't for people like you, they would have won.
The media was in on it too.
It's heavy.
The media was being paid.
But the media, absolutely. But you have to understand something about the media. The media only makes their money off of Big Pharma. If you notice, there's no other advertising. You're right. There's no other advertising on TV but Big Pharma.
The radio too.
That's the radio too. So they control it all.
Wow, that's woo. Well, this is gonna be a good conversation tonight. But first, let me look at my comments and send a shout out to everybody that is joining us. Let's see who we got. We got James Nelson. That's my homie Jamie. What's up, Jamie? What's happening? And then we got Razor Ray 39. Hi, my love. That's my man. He's here to show some love. We also got Angel A. Ruling 7899. I don't want to mess your name up, but thank you. Shout out to you. She actually said that She actually lives in Oregon. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not calling you a woman and you actually a man or vice
No,
versa.
her name Angela.
Okay. Good. We don't got no time for that. I don't want to call nobody the wrong sex in 2026. Okay, we don't want that. So right on, Angela. Shout out to you. We also got AJ's Rent Room. I know who that is. Welcome, AJ's Rent Room. We got Safe Spirited. Welcome to everybody. Welcome
That's
to all
DJ
you all.
Knott. That's DJ Knott.
DJ Knott?
That's Safe Spirit is DJ Knott.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's up, DJ Knott? That's my bro. What's happening, bro? Well, welcome everybody. So listen, we're gonna go ahead and get off into one of my another one of our segments, which is actually called the Vintage Tea, where I actually dig back in time to bring a little bit of tea. And I think that this story that I came across is actually going to work perfectly with what we're talking about tonight. So have you all ever heard of the Great Stink?
The great what?
The Great Stink. You heard that? Yes,
Right.
the Great Stink. So let me, because when I heard about it, I was just like, "Are you serious? This is for real?" Yes, y'all. There is a moment in history that is actually called the Great Stink. It happened in London, of all places, and I'm going to share my screen so you can kind of get a gist of what happened there. It's really gonna trip y'all out. Let me know if you all can't hear it. Let's go ahead and check it out. This is the Great Stink, everybody, of 1858. Let's see what they nasty asses was up to over there in London around this time.
Centuries, London has been dumping absolutely everything into the river because people believed the tide would just wash it away. But in 1858, the volume of sewage is so massive that the tide just pushes it back and forth like a soup in a giant bowl. You look at the water and you see dead dogs and bloated cats and raw excrement floating on the surface in the blistering sun. But how did the capital of the world let itself drown in its own waste? The irony is that the invention of the flush toilet actually made the problem 1,000 times worse than it was before. Before the toilet, people used cesspits in their basements, which were emptied by the night soil men we talked about earlier. But now thousands of wealthy Londoners are flushing their waste directly into the old drains, which were only designed for rainwater. These drains empty straight into the Thames, right in the middle of the city, where people get their drinking water. You are essentially drinking the same water that your neighbor just flushed down his toilet 5 minutes ago. The result is a catastrophe of epic proportions that threatens to destroy the entire city from the inside out. You see people collapsing in the streets from cholera and typhoid because they have no idea that the water is killing them. In the 1850s, people still believed in the miasma theory, which stated that bad smells caused disease. So when the Great Stink hits in July of 1858, the population is absolutely terrified because they think the smell itself is a cloud of death. You are walking through a city that is gripped by panic because the air feels poisonous and heavy. The wealthy are fleeing to their country estates and leaving the poor to suffocate in the toxic fumes of the metropolis. The smell is so bad that it disrupts the entire legal system of the British Empire. You walk past the law courts and you see judges running out of the building with handkerchiefs pressed to their faces because they cannot focus on their case. The problem is that for centuries...
Okay. Let me tell you something. That funky bitch. First of all, I know, isn't that crazy? But it's not too far-fetched because I don't know if y'all know that saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, where that came from. They used to they at one point, they literally used to share bathwater, like from family to family to family. And they used to put the baby in there last. Like, y'all let the baby bathe in y'all filth. Shout out to Thomas Elkins, first of all. Thomas Elkins is the foundational Black American that actually redesigned the toilet here. Let's give that man a round of applause because like he deserves it. We will be literally we will be shitting in a hole had it not been for Thomas Elkins. So that's just a moment in history. I hope you all y'all need to look more into this because it is definitely crazy.
No, I won't. I'm good. That's enough for me. I'm out.
I don't think people
That was
understand how
all-
wild it was over there. Like, did you know like what it was like during the Victorian era, the Victorian era?
But
Europe,
what's crazy?
Europe was a nasty place to live. I mean,
It was
what's
nasty
crazy
as
it was
hell.
a nasty place to live.
What's crazy about that is that that's history repeating itself, because the same thing happened with the castles. Like, how do you do the same exact thing? You did the same, whatever.
No, you right. But like when it came to this whole what is it? I've been saying it wrong for the last couple of days. The Hunter Biden,
The bullshit virus.
the ham and
bullshit virus.
cheese virus, where they went out there and got sick because of rodent boo-boo or some shit. Like, I don't understand what you were doing there, sir, ma'am, or both. Like, I have no idea what you were doing there. But if you notice, it's very similar to what happened when it came to C-19, because didn't that come from y'all eating
From a bat.
bats? That's a
Whatever.
rodent with wings.
No, actually, it was actually developed in.
No, we know.
Yeah, we know.
Okay.
We
I
But
didn't know.
it's just kind of, this is why I'm saying they don't want us to remember what happened, y'all. It's like
Right.
they want us to just forget that,
They
like,
keep running the same play over.
they keep running the
over
same
and over
play.
again.
You know, funny thing is
19
that we
wasn't
gonna,
nothing but exactly what you just talked about. It's the
Yeah.
same exact formula they executed on the masses of people, because a person may be very smart, a person may be very intelligent, but people are stupid and they're easily manipulated. So all you need is enough convincing, so to speak, enough just voila, enough little magic tricks, and you will get people to believe whatever it is you want them to believe. Hence why they will believe that a stink cloud is coming to kill them and not the water that they drink every single day.
I'm a firm believer that's the reason why they legalized weed in certain states, because they knew that they was gonna screw y'all shit up. Like, they knew what they were gonna do. Like, they was like, okay, look, we just need to go ahead and just legalize it, because we kind of already got a plan. Like, anything that's going on right now, y'all got to know that this is not coincidental. Like, this isn't something that just happened out of the blue. For goodness sakes, they've been planning for the Project 2030 for, I don't know, like 30, 40 years? You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
everything that's
326.
going on right now is things that they have already pre-planned. So they was just like, look, we might as well keep them high, because we know what we about to do. We know we about to let this border open. We know that we about to be robbing them. We might as well keep them sedated. I'm just saying, that's just my thought. I don't know.
I guess I should be happy that I don't smoke or drink.
More for me. But let's go ahead and get into the conversation. Hey. I like the great Nate Dogg said. But I mean, like, hey, I just feel like, sometimes it wouldn't be a problem if they wouldn't like be messing with the shit. That's the thing. Like they doing other things to God's green, and then they want to call it the devil's lettuce. This is natural herbs, guys. Like, quit calling it the devil's lettuce. It's not the devil's lettuce, okay? And it kind of really takes you back to that Reefer Madness. We're gonna have to do a show on Reefer Madness. Have y'all ever seen Reefer Madness?
You talk about the propaganda that went against it. That was the craziest. These people, look, when I say diabolical, these people are diabolical, and they've turned the United States, which you already know what it is. Everything is just about money.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everything is about money, and we are commodities.
Well, the thing about it though, bro, and like when G had said that in the chat a couple of weeks ago about like, can we stop talking about race? I was just like, I can't make you no promises. But then I got to thinking to myself, you know what? Talking about race all the time without having some type of solution is literally that's a broke person's conversation. Because you better know that the people at the top, they not looking at what a person's color is. They're trying to see what your commodities are. Like, what are your assets? What do you have? What do you have? They don't even pay taxes the same as us. They ain't even in the same tax bracket as us. So while they up there talking about green, we down here talking about black, white, and brown.
And we got, and just so everybody knows on the panel, Tammy is white and she's not uncomfortable, because we are all on the same page and we don't care, because we're against the same fucking system.
And you know what? I'm so glad to have you here, Tammy, because I really think that like people be thinking that this is just a black podcast. No, we just happen to be melanated people. And we talk about issues that may affect melanated people, but we talk about issues that that affect everybody. Like I invite people who are liberals, no matter what your race is, definitely come over. You know what I mean? So we can have a conversation because we are in the business of trying to see what we can do to heal America. Because right now it is a shit show. It's a shit show on social media. It's a shit show in our streets. It's a shit show in the government. We don't know which way to go. I'm telling you right now, as a conservative, I live in a conservative city. I live in a conservative state in a blue city, and I see bullshit from both sides. So it's for right now, for me, it's not just about strictly conservative people or fighting against liberals. I have no need to go against you and tell you why I voted the way I voted. I did the shit. It's over with. Deal with it. Hit me in my mouth when you see me. You could try, but it ain't gonna work out that well for you. At this point, we need to be figuring out what we need to do in order to prepare ourselves for what's next. Prepare ourselves for the fact that we might have a water drought coming within the next couple of years because of all these data centers. The data center situation is not even a Republican or Democrat thing because both of their asses was getting paid to sign the documents to put them there. So I just really need people to know that it's really us against them. And I mean us, the 99%. It's us against them. If you are a foundational Black American, if you are a foundational white American, you are a foundational Mexican American, does not matter if you're a foundational American, it's us against them. And if we don't buckle up and have these hard conversations and really talk to each other and try to figure out what we need to do to move forward, before we know it, we're going to be speaking somebody else's language.
Can I ask, I definitely want to stay on topic. Can I ask Kev a question that's on topic and off topic at the same time real quick?
What's going on?
Kev, with you having the inside track that you do, I'm hoping you can really answer this question. We know what goes on behind the scenes with the powers that be and who they are. Is it true that those powers that be, that there's good and evil with those powers that be, like they fighting each other too because all of them ain't for our demise?
Well, no, that's not true. Well, that's a very interesting question, but they're all evil. At the end of the day, it's about the commoditization of humanity, the commoditization of the groups. And there's a certain sector of people, they don't care about either politics, if it's left or right, or if it's in the middle. So they're all evil. It's who you're preparing to negotiate with.
Yeah.
You know, who do you prepared? Because the only non-evil people in this are conscious people, you know, people that are connected to their God consciousness. Like all of you, I laugh when I see all of us because there's something in your DNA at this time and moment that have allowed you to pay attention to this pending crisis that's going to continue in our society. It's all about saving humanity. It's all about, because what they were prepared to do is change the DNA of our faith. I mean, this is much deeper than, you know, groups fighting each other. This is a very spiritual thing that's happening right now, and we need to pay attention to that. And that's why the whole issue of family and faith, you know, is so important. I think people keep trying to push that to the side, and I think that's the brokenness that have allowed them to come in and, you know, and do what they're doing in our communities, join what they're doing in our schools. Look, and you know, when she brought up data centers, I don't even think people clearly understand. They're going to be rationing water and electricity. And they're trying to do it in urban communities, but they can't get a bigger footprint. But people are starting to catch on quicker. And I'm telling you, it's because of what COVID outlined for us and what we started to research. And, you know, people didn't know what any of those organizations was. Nobody was talking about NGOs at the time. Nobody was talking about any of that stuff. I think people around the world are much, much smarter. And those people that have that God chip in them to really pay attention and alert themselves when these kinds of things happen is really important. And I think all of you reflect that. So when he asked that question, it would be easy for me to say, oh, they're good and they're bad. You know, no, it's not that. They're controlled by a whole nother system that control our monetary system, that control our religious system. All of those systems are bad for us. We need to break all of them up. And I think once we start to understand that, we'll see some real societal change. But now there's a rebirth that's happening now. There's a renewal that's happening now. And I think that, you know, they want us to not pay attention to it, but it's happening. I mean, it really is happening in real time. People are starting to, you know, wake up to some of the things that are going on, but they might not be where you are right? They might not be where I'm at, but they're slowly getting there. The more we have these conversations, the better it is for society.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not sure if you all partake in like the meaning of numbers, right? Numbers are very significant. And if you know about what my guy Ralph Smart, shout out to Ralph Smart, the inorganic ones are all about numbers and timing and flipping things at a specific time. Like right now, I feel like we're in a new form of the Great Reset, which has happened several times throughout history, throughout American history, throughout world history. We're definitely in the midst of a great reset. And I don't think like a lot of people are paying attention to the transition that we're going through. And they want us to forget these moments that happened that changed our country so much that to even think about it will put you in a state of like, damn, like I can't believe I lived through this. So when you think of 2020, if you add both of those together, if you add 20 plus 20 together, it equals what? It equals 40. Now, 40, the number 40 is also associated with purification. It's also associated with spiritual renewal, but it also signifies new life, new growth, and a change from one task to the next. So could it be that the old world that we knew before 2020 is no more? And that we actually went through a great reset then? And now we're just possibly going through another reset now because maybe they didn't like the way that great reset went? I don't know. What y'all think? I mean, like, what you think, Mark?
Can I say some crazy shit then? Since we're going there, then I definitely think that there is truth to that. There was a great reset, like back when the Tartaria Empire existed. All of this technology and everything that we see right now, this isn't new. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything has already been done. And a lot of people don't want to realize that. They try to hide it from you. The same thing like what's happening right now. You could argue that when CERN was cut on, now you hear people talking about the Mandela effect. You go back as little things in time where they're saying that they wasn't exactly how it happened. Like, for example, Oscar Mayer Bologna or Oscar Mayer Wieners. They're trying to tell you it's always
right, like Sinbad with Kazam. And
exactly.
The Mandela effect was heavy.
This is what I'm saying. We talking about all of the. We talking about the Great Reset and the Mandela effects. All of this plays a part. And when you were talking about the numerology, if you know that the biggest lie that's being perpetrated on the planet right now, to me, in my personal opinion, I don't mean to go crazy with this, but this is my opinion, is that they're convincing you that the Earth is a globe. And by them doing this, it allows them to deny the reality that there is a creator. Like
you know what, Mark, you're real passionate about this Earth thing. I heard you mention it last time. You think I forgot, but I did. The flat Earth and stuff like that. Like I ain't never really got all the way into it, but like you believe that the Earth is round?
I believe that it's round, but I don't believe that it's a globe. If you look at like their own mathematics, their own everything that they say, that their own logic, if you use it against them, everything that they say falls apart. When I mentioned to you about the circumference of the Earth itself, right? If you look at the circumference of the Earth itself and you look at the distance per square mile that it takes that you would be able to see the curvature of the Earth or the horizon line or whatever, it doesn't add up. When you can be at a point in Indiana and see all the way across Lake Michigan to see the skyline in Chicago. That's not possible. The curvature of the Earth would block it based on their own mathematics. They tell you that they tell you that the sun is 93 million miles away. How would they know that? You see what I'm saying? You can look at water. Water always finds its level, no matter what. It always finds its level. Water always lies flat, no matter what. So on a frozen lake that's longer than 8 miles, you can test this theory because after 3 miles, essentially you should see curvature, right? So they're telling you that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, right? There's no water splashing nowhere. The water's flat everywhere, but and then they're saying that the water is supposed to be flat. So if we all know water's flat, then why wouldn't it be a hump in the water? The water should essentially extend out or bow up if there's a curve in the Earth. It wouldn't just be flat. And if it was a ball, have you ever just tried to pour water onto a ball? What happens?
Just
And when you look at the high, like I said, when you look at Antarctica, the reason why 58 countries signed a treaty that says we can't go to Antarctica, like I was talking about earlier, 2020 was an instrument used to perpetrate a much bigger crime that's being played on the people. You thinking that it's like Democrat versus Republican, but I'm trying to tell you the same problems that we're having in America is plaguing the whole entire world, whether we hear about it or not. We be just so focused on our phones and in our own bubble and on our own timeline that we don't even pay attention to what's going on. But if you looked in Australia, what's going on? If you looked in in Europe, what's going on? If you looked in Russia and Asia and see what's going on in these countries, you would see that everybody is going through this shit. And so many biblical prophecies are coming true. So if over 2,500 biblical prophecies have come true, I would say that that's a pretty accurate historical document, right? The Bible itself depicts the earth as being flat, saying that he set the earth on a flat plane and it's set on pillars that shall not be moved. That says that in the Bible right there. It's in Genesis, in the opening lines of Genesis, it says that he created a firmament over the earth and separated the waters from the water. So the water above heaven and the water below it. I mean, it says it right there in the Bible, whether you want to read it or not. But wouldn't it be easier to just perpetrate a big lie on everybody to tell them that, you know what, the earth is a globe? And then let's come up with a bunch of mathematics and make all the mathematics, by the way, equal 666, since we want to talk about numerology. The number 666 and the number 33 and the number 322. I mean, I could really get into it, but I don't want to get us into no trouble with going down too far in these conspiracy theories. But it's funny how the conspiracy theories always seem to be coming true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shannon, can you forgive me? I want to be on your show so bad, but I have to go now.
No,
can you invite me back?
Absolutely. Is there anything that you would like to say?
I would like to
say
leave? That everything that he's saying, we should be open to having a deeper conversation about that. I think that is what happened in the last 4 years. We started opening up our minds to some of the things that we were taught. And I think it's a great time to have those conversations, and we should not put them in a conspiracy narrative. We should be open to that because every conspiracy has come true thus far. And I think he's right about that. And I want to have that extended conversation. But if these people come in my house and I don't attend to them, I'm going to get killed. So let me do that.
No,
Shannon.
we don't want you to get killed. We want to invite you back.
What I want you to do is invite me back, and I'll be free for the whole 2 hours. And trust me, I have a lot to talk about with you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kevin. You enjoy your day, okay?
And Fu, I'll be back, okay?
My man, you always welcome.
Okay, always welcome.
Okay,
bye. You know, based on what Mark said.
Now, why is it the tape?
Based on what Mark said, I want y'all to pay attention to something. And mind you, you just confirmed something for me. You always hear from other countries why it's so important what goes on in America. It's so important because it dictates what happens around the world. The one thing that we have here, the illusion of it anyway, is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So with that being said, because we can't get rounded up for something we say by the cops, what are they doing in other countries? That's why, and I don't know if has anybody on this panel ever watched the movie V for Vendetta?
No, I've heard of it, but never seen it.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
If you watch that movie, you be like, oh, it's one of my favorite. Mind you, hold up. It's the reason why I proudly will rock this motherfucker right here. but it's white. The one in the movie is white. This is Guy Fawkes. When we get done with this show tonight, for you and everybody that's watching this, watch V for Vendetta if you haven't seen it. You're gonna be like, oh shit.
Might need to watch that.
Trust me, you will enjoy every second. You're gonna be like, oh, because us having these conversations in any other environment, you can get hurt, you can get taken out, you can get prosecuted. But over in America, unfortunately, slowly but surely, we've given up certain rights voluntarily. They don't talk about that because they real smooth with it. What happened with 9/11? We gave away our privacy. What happened in 2020? We gave away our medical freedom.
Yeah.
And what have they been going for forever? Our fucking speech. To the point where we have candidates saying it openly. Hillary Clinton said it. John Kerry said it. Kamala Harris said it. And I'm like, oh my God. And people don't catch this, which is the problem. Everybody has a fucking voice. We all do. We just got to use it. And us 5 now on this panel, we can use our voice. We may disagree, but we can come up with a solution. They want us to fight.
Yeah.
So it's constant chaos.
Yeah.
That's what's driving the fact that it's not chaos in the streets. That's what they're missing. Because what happened in the summer of love and all that bullshit, they fed so much off of that. They want it back so bad, but it's not happening. People are waking up, and I love it. But I hate the fact that people get persecuted, like somebody like Tammy, who's in the medical industry. They were persecuted if they spoke their piece. If they were persecuted if they helped out a family member. Yo, I'm going to say this and I'm going to be quiet. My mother, around that time, let's just say she had a medical incident. She was at a rehab center. These motherfuckers had the nerve to tell me I couldn't go see my mother if I didn't have a mask on. What? All right. I walked back there, talked to my moms real quick, went off. Mommy, don't worry about it. I'll be back tomorrow because I know they're going to call the cops because they're going to say I'm trespassing because I didn't leave. I know the game. I got immediately on the phone with the owner of the motherfucking spot and told them, you can request that I wear one. You can't require me to go see my mother. You out your rabbit ass mind. It's not working out like that. And what happened the next day? I was in there to see my moms. Not enough people did that. That's the problem. We have to speak up and stop the tyranny because it's us. These people work for us. And they can't, man.
From the floor.
Well, hold on. I gotta hear from my sis because sis. But what you got? I gotta hear from my sis. Go ahead, G.
I believe in every conspiracy theory ever made because it's the truth coming out. I don't believe anything they ever said. They can't tell me shit. The TV is a damn lie. The news is a lie. The radio is a lie. Every airwave is controlled by the demon that they know, and that's the damn devil. They can get out of my face with that bullshit. Every new newscaster that's got a black tone to their ass is an immigrant. If they ain't an immigrant, they mammies is an immigrant. If they mammies ain't, they grandmammies is. I don't believe none of that shit. And we have to get to the point where if we're not going to be able to save the masses, we passed that point. We got to save the people that have common sense and souls and Christ consciousness. And you got to teach your kids the proper truth. Other than that, to hell with the rest of them. I don't got time for the rest of them. They can go burn in the lake of fucking fire that they don't believe in. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They can believe all the idiocracies and all the foolishness, all the fuck that they want. It's not going to stop me from prospering, from knowing the truth, from walking in the truth, from living my truth, from being successful. It ain't going to stop me from living and being happy and having peace and having joy. They can be miserable by their fucking self.
Come on now. Hey.
That's the real talk. Everybody can't be saved. Everybody don't even want to be saved. Some of them enjoy this shit. So let them live in it.
Read that last comment. Read that last comment for Tiff. Read that last comment.
I love what, matter of fact, we're going to put it on a board. My internet wife.
Well, going back to what Boo was saying, is that that's why they educate our children the way they do. They put them in a box. This is what you do. You listen to us. You don't believe. I was born in 1965. We were taught you get to school. When you're 18, either you join the service, you go to college, you work. When you're 65, you get to retire. Then you get to grow old and die. And I digress with that philosophy completely because they are just trying to cram they want to depopulate. It's the eugenist. I'm sorry. They want to depopulate, and that's why they're dumbing down society, because if you don't know to ask questions, then you can't communicate. If you can't write, you cannot communicate. Even math is a form of communication. Look at the language that the Navajos used back during World War II that couldn't be deciphered by any other military. They don't want us smart. They don't want our children smart.
Yeah.
And then they don't want special people that understand there is a God, there is religion, and that there is hell.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, this conversation is getting spicy. So before we get started, man, make sure you all like, comment, share, and invite someone into the conversation. If you're watching live, drop it in the chats. Where are you watching us from? And tell us one thing that changed for you in 2020. And if you ever want to join the future panel, email us at therealistlounge@gmail.com. But let's go ahead and get into this conversation. Now, when you hear life before 2020 versus life after 2020, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm gonna start with you, Fu.
Normalcy. Some sense of normalcy before 2020.
Yeah.
And I would say, for me, I kept my normalcy from 2020 to now, unlike a lot of people. I kept my shit. Fuck that.
What you think, Tammy?
I think I saw a lot of changes in socialization. People went
Yes.
from getting together, whether it was at church or community events, etc., to where all of a sudden we didn't have it for a while, and it just never got reorganized back the way it used to be, the way it was.
What you think, Tiff?
Freedoms. We lost a lot of freedoms. I used to be able to go in the middle of the night to go shopping because maybe that was the time where it was peaceful and quiet. And you could go out and not have to deal with everybody, and your senses weren't overstimulated by things. But now they group us all together. Can't even go out to go. Everything closed at 9 o'clock. They pushed us into this smaller circle. It used to be a little bit larger, and so a lot of freedoms got lost.
Yeah. What you think, Mark?
How powerful fear is.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
In 2020, you saw full on how powerful the use of fear could be as a tactic to destroy everything about society. They made you scared of your own family members. They made you scared to go outside. They made you scared to stand next to people. They made you scared to essentially be a human. Everything that made being a human dope, cool, fun, they made you scared of. Prior to 2020, life wasn't as much about fear as it was as much about overcoming your fear. In 2020, they taught you to succumb to your fear. This is why everything is about embracing the victimhood mentality. This is why nowadays that people who work hard aren't rewarded, but people who are victims and people who find a way to complain about things and make excuses for their failures seem to be the ones with all the success. I mean, it seems like everything got flipped, and the tool that they use in order to invert everything, in my opinion, is fear.
Yeah. Me personally, I miss when people didn't care who you voted for. I miss when that wasn't your entire image, your entire personality, your entire character. I miss that we looked at each other as Americans, as human beings, as people with character. It didn't really matter if you were an American or if you were an immigrant. I miss the old school immigrants that probably was illegal, but they worked their asses off to still, learn our language. They started from the bottom and worked their way up to be American citizens. They valued our country. They valued what we stood for. They didn't bring their ways over here and then fight for us to lay down to them. Meaning I didn't have to worry about the fact that if I didn't know how to speak one language or if I knew how to speak American, it wasn't an issue. I miss that. I miss when America was America. Like regardless of what people say, America was never great. It was great for me. I love my country, and I hate to see how divided that we've gotten over things that a lot of us really don't have any control over. Like, no matter how we vote, we don't really got no control over what the government does. We only could control what we got going on in our own homes, and under our roof and in our environment. I miss that. I miss when people just looked at each other as people and not as Democrat or Republican or black or white or illegal or not illegal. I missed that part. What was you about to say, Fool?
The thing about what happened in 2020 and the aftermath is that public trust was destroyed. But the other key component that plays into exactly what's going on now in our political spectrum is the divisiveness. 2020 started it, and it was started by the media. And I sent Shannon that clip, that video, showing all on the media how they were bad mouthing people who decided to say no.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have this, they shouldn't have that, they shouldn't have that. That started it. That's the same language you get now when you vote a different way from somebody else. It was like a tipping point, and it was like the domino getting tipped over. And it's crazy because the only way we survive in this world, and I would say mainly in this country, is if there's some semblance of us working together. Because the government can play all the games they want. We still have to live with each other. We have to. It is so. Y'all heard me say this forever. I do Instacart. I have never walked out the supermarket watching an old woman with 2 cases of water and say, who did you vote for before I put this water in your car? Because, you know, that's how this goes. No, ma'am, you want me to put that water in the car? Yes, please. Boom. I don't care. Why have we been so blinded to fall for that trap? Because the fact of the matter is, if I do this with a knife, it's only one color coming out. All of us. It don't matter. And we have to help each other. But they've mastered the art of having us fight over bullshit. Well, at least some of us fight over bullshit. But that falls on us too. Damn that. And that doesn't get called out enough. To me, that's the part that don't get called out enough.
Real
That's why
talk.
I said if they tell you one lie, they can tell you a lie about. If you believe one lie, you'll believe a whole bunch of lies.
Man,
if I can lie to you, like I was saying earlier, if I can lie to you about the planet, then I can lie to you about anything. I can lie to you about dinosaurs being real. I can lie to you about anything. I can lie to you about space being real. I can tell you that we went to Artemis 2, we went around the moon, we zipped around, did all this, that, and the third. I can tell you all of that, and you're gonna be believing it. You're gonna eat it right up. And meanwhile, we sending $93 billion of hard-earned taxpayer money out the window.
Man, listen. They ain't talking about the Lear Center, the Learin Center. They ain't talking about that no more. So let's go to the comments real quick, and then we go finish diving in. So King of My Honor, what's up, King of My Honor, bro? What's happening? True, we are divided over someone else's beliefs. Yeah, absolutely. You God forbid you be a free thinker. You the black sheep of the community, not just your family, of the community. Like Black Sheeps United, we need to be like.
Shannon, look at Kilo Mike. He made a comment. He just bought a book for writing cursive. Time to learn.
Killer Mike?
No. Somebody in the comments, because I put up that book last week. I had Tammy. They talking about this because I got this in the house.
Oh, okay. I see it right here. Kilo Mike. What's up, Kilo Mike? Thank you, guys. I bought a cursive writing book. Yes. And let me tell you something. Knowing how to write in cursive got me out of a lot of shit. Sorry, Mom. I write like you. I got out of some things.
I didn't scribble that name.
I definitely scribbled that name a few times.
They did that cursive because the Constitution is written in cursive. All of our old documents and our laws are written in cursive from the founding fathers. They don't want them to be able to read shit.
It's just beautiful. Cursive, if you could write in cursive, listen, if you got beautiful handwriting, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to write in cursive. Like my man is left-handed and he has some really beautiful handwriting. So I be feeling bad for people who do not know how to write in cursive or who no longer do that. But Fool, when you get a chance, can you send me that video to TikTok? Because if I pull it up on my inbox, it's gonna remove me. It's gonna take me, and I don't want to look confused again. So yeah, send it to my.
I'm glad we talk about this. I've always had a nice handwriting. I've lost it over the years. Due to this conversation, I'm getting ready to find me a calligraphy class. I'm dead serious. I love the art of writing. That shit to me is fucking beautiful. I've always been told I got a nice handwriting for a man because I used to do this shit all day, every day, just writing cursive. I used to write the basketball teams in order, literally, and I used to do this shit in cursive in class.
Yeah.
And people got to get, because that's it stimulates this if you're doing cursive.
It do.
Period. I'm about to find a video right now.
All right, no problem. So let's start with the bigger picture. So for Americans, 2020 was not just a calendar year. It was more of a cultural shift. It changed how people moved, thought, gathered, trusted, worked, and even how they saw their neighbors. So before 2020, we had problems, of course. We had our own things that's going on, but America was not perfect. But then again, there was still that sense of normalcy that Fu actually mentioned. And after 2020, it seems like that normalcy just changed. People started questioning things that they never thought that they would question. They never thought that they would question lineage. They never thought that they would question their political government, the politics. Like, people got more into politics and wanted to learn more about, how our government works. People started asking questions about our history. We learned a lot of things when it comes to our history, that everything that we think that we may know may not actually be 100% true, even though it was taught to us in schools. But people definitely came more aware of the systems, the power, media narratives, health decisions, and even who they allowed around them. So my first question to the panel is, do you believe America changed for the better, for the worse, or both after 2020? I'm going to start with you, Tiff.
I think that it was orchestrated. Well, I think it was orchestrated for the worse. But I think what it did was it divided the wheat from the tare. I used to have conversations around that time about me and my girlfriend. There's a woke person, if you want to call people that still, but just in our conscious mind about how we were separating from the people that didn't know anything, right? That did or wouldn't believe anything outside of what they've been taught and what they just felt like was, gold in their mind, that those standards still met. But I believe it was a separation of the wheat and the tare. People with Christ consciousness and the sheep had to get away from each other. We couldn't tolerate each other around that time. It was just like, if you don't believe this, then I can't talk to you right now. You won't even listen to me. You won't listen to my point of view, and I can see it blatantly and you can't see it at all. So I think that it was just a separation at that time, and it was meant for bad, but it ended up being, I think, a greater good is going to come out of it for sure. We always win in the end anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What you think, Tammy?
Well, I think people, because of everything that was happening, became more aware of what was going on. Those that cared, those that realized, wait a second, there is a bigger picture going on here. And they started to question. And I think that's why certain things like Clubhouse got shut down. I mean, it got modified so badly that nobody ever went back. Because if we're asking questions and people are saying, I'm just going to follow what's being told to me after the media, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you, and I'm going to go on my own path. Remember, the right path is narrow. The path downhill is very, very wide. There's going to be more people on it. And honestly, it helps to remove the toxic people from your life that you do not need around you, because they are not going to be on the narrow path.
This is true. I could definitely agree with that one, because during this era, and I'm going to be quick with this, I actually separated from a long, horrible, abusive, toxic relationship. And 2020 was bad, but it really it was a blessing for me. Like seriously, it was such a blessing for me, because not only did I got a really good job, a good position, and I'm still with this company today. But I was homeless around that time. I was actually living in Airbnbs. I didn't have no car or anything. And I was living in Georgia, and I had to deal with the fact that not only did I not have a car, but they literally cut the MARTA system from having 160 plus ways to ride to taking it down to 60 something. That was difficult when you're living in an Airbnb and there's a bus stop right in front of that place and you can't ride it because they cut the stops down. because of COVID. Then they had it to where only 6 people could be on the bus at a time. So if you even got to a bus stop, or even if you went to the train station to ride the MARTA, you couldn't get on if it was too many people. So it really put a lot of strain and stress, but it kind of pushed me to actually come back to my hometown, and I was able to rebuild my life, rebuild my credit, fall in love, restabilize my entire life over, get better acquainted with my family. So it was a blessing for some people, despite such a horrible time. So like getting the toxicity out of your life was definitely something that I could say attributed to my success as a person today. So yeah, that was good right there, Tammy. You was right. Go ahead, Mark.
If there was ever a time to say both, I would say this would be the time to say both.
I agree.
For the people who are what I like to call still asleep, it got worse for them because everything that they were scared of got used to hurt them, got used to destroy them, got used to take their lives away from them. And everyone who thought for themselves, everyone who had a certain level of intestinal fortitude and internal motivation, those people sought out information, those people asked questions, and those people realized that what they were being sold didn't add up. Like this disease that's killing most of the planet emanated from someone eating a bat at a wet market. Like, if you just ask the questions, you'll see that the answers don't really make any sense. When everybody is talking about, where we go from this point on, we got to go back to the root. The root was always about the money. They used this as an opportunity, 1, to control you, and 2, to line their pockets. This is why so many people were getting paid for doing so many things, like in the hospital. She just mentioned how it was eight or so different ways that they were being paid for the C-19. It was also, the media. Even down to the local media affiliates were being paid to run commercials, to run ads, to talk about or to spin C-19 in a certain way, or to juice the statistics to make it seem worse than it really is. All this is a tool used to fearmonger. Like I said, going back to that tool about fear again, fear is a very powerful tool. This is why when you cut on CNN, this is why when you cut on MSNBC, Fox, everything is a catastrophe, because they know how powerful of a tactic fear is. And since 2020, they've been using it full on stop, and it's like a runaway locomotive. And the only people who can turn away from it are those who seek their information away from the mainstream.
Any thoughts, Swoop? No?
Nah, because everything is getting touched on, and I can honestly say between Clubhouse and TikTok, I have more family members. This is not a game when I say this. I bonded with so many people off Clubhouse because of the connection. I bonded with so many people off of TikTok because I connect with people with This Is Open, and I'm always willing to learn. We dealing with a lot of people who have no souls, number one, and they refuse to get off of whatever soapbox they were told to get on. They can't step up there by themselves. They were told to get up there, and they regurgitate the bullshit. It's like 2020 destroyed relationships. We talk about actual husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, because they were stuck in a house together. Destroyed that shit. It destroyed relationships with family and friends. And it destroyed, as Tammy put it, just being social. Like, that is crazy to me, to go to the park and not see anybody, not to see kids out there playing. And I got a video I just watched earlier where they tripped up fucking Fauci, saying he never said this about.
That word.
Saying it was made up.
They was like, don't talk about him.
Oh, my bad.
No. They paused you.
Yeah,
when you said when you mentioned him.
Yeah, they literally act like this is the 80s. Video proof shows You said it. It's right. Just that's you know what? I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be quiet. I know you probably gonna play that video. The one thing about me, and I know Shannon can attest to how close we are. Authenticity matters. Yeah. If you lie, just say you lied. The more you go on with the lie, the more people lose respect for you. That's why we're in the situation that we're in now, because there's a certain group of people out there, they refuse to say we were wrong. If you say that, you can get another chance. People done. No. People are done right now. No. And they can't see that because they so disillusioned. And it's like George Carlin, whatever. He said, it's a big ass club and we ain't invited.
Well, guess
what? We got our own fucking club now. Your ass ain't invited either.
Hell no. You can't get in. Kicker visits out the house like Pam. You can't get in. So let's go ahead and check out this video. Fu shared this video, and this is what I mean when I say they really be wanting people to like forget about what happened. They want y'all to forget that y'all was some bullying assholes when it came to this hot sauce. Y'all were bullying people. I got bullied. I did. I got the hot sauce one time in order for me to see my only niece. That's it. And I'm going to tell y'all about that story after this video because y'all got to hear what Walmart told me after I told them I was having some problems. Let's go ahead and get into this video and I'll be right back. Let's go. Here we go. Hey, sure. I don't know if it's, oh, okay, here we go.
It is the unvaccinated who are the problem.
Truth. Maybe they should be shamed, but the unvaccinated.
It's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks.
We can't trust the unvaccinated.
The unvaccinated, a group that includes children and people acting like children.
When are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say, it's mandatory to get vaccinated?
Oh, you can't shame them. You can't call them stupid. You can't call them silly. Yes, they are.
Those who are not vaccinated will end up paying the price.
The unvaccinated should be taxed. They should pay more for health care.
We need to start looking at the choice to remain unvaccinated the same as we look at driving while intoxicated.
Really, the only people dying are the unvaccinated. And for those of you spreading this information, shame on you.
We've got to shun folks. We've got to shun people into
getting. To shun those that refuse to get vaccinated.
The unvaccinated people have put us in the position that we're in now, and it is not a good place. You got to start telling people, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't come into this office or this place of business. If you don't get vaccinated, you can't come to work.
Oh, screw you.
I had to hit my vape because that was such a stressful video to watch. It was just really stressful. It was stressful.
You know what's not talked about enough too? Do people realize how many businesses were shut the fuck down because of that bullshit?
Listen, let me tell you something, bro. If anybody from Georgia, please like tap in. Like there was this place out there. It was a chicken sausage house. I didn't eat pork around that time. So this is the only chicken sausage that I would eat. It was the only breakfast sausage I would eat. I hate turkey sausage. It's trash. It was very popular. It was a chicken stand. And they were open 24 hours. The shit it was. It closed down because of this. And I remember like just being bullied. Seriously, told. I remember when I first moved back here and I moved in with my mom. They were wearing masks in the crib. Like they were wearing masks in the house, outside. Look, I had Louis Vuitton mask. I made a mask. And then after a while, I was noticing that the masks were breaking me out along my cheekbones. It was messing me up. I felt like it was just covering up. So I got a plastic mask, y'all. It was see-through. And I thought I was the shit, styling and profiling with this mask. But I actually got one from Walmart. I asked my sisters, I said, which one should I get? They said, okay, don't get the Johnson & Johnson's, all right? Don't get that one. And I ended up getting, I think it was the Moderna. I think that's the one I got. I got one of them. And I was like, okay, I'm good. Let me go. I went to Texas. Texas was a hot spot around that time. That was another reason why I got it. I was like, I don't want to go to Texas and get sick, and then I don't want to be around my niece and get her sick or get sick or anything. And y'all, my lady that I see on a regular stopped. It stopped. Now, this is coming from somebody who already has a condition. I have a tumor on my pituitary gland, so I already have these issues. But I take the meds. I do the things that I need to do to make sure everything's running properly. Do you know 3 months? I wasn't pregnant. I wasn't sexually active with anybody, so I knew I wasn't pregnant. I called Walmart and asked them, hey, what are the side effects of this? Is this a side effect? You know, she told me, yeah. I said, so why don't y'all why do you don't tell people? Oh, well, we don't have to. You don't have to. As a woman, this is a woman I'm talking to. As a woman, you don't think that other women should be told that this is a side effect so they don't freak out, so they don't think that something else is wrong? Well, you know, we don't have to reveal that information. I never went back after that. I never got another one. But I watched friends, I watched family members of mine get all of them. And I promise you, y'all, and this is right hand to God, they are getting illnesses that I would have never thought that they would get in their old age. My pops has a situation in his 60s that I would have never thought that he would get. My mom had a silent heart attack in her 60s that she probably has no idea how she got it. My auntie is in her 80s. I watched this lady be a jovial, happy, healthy, exciting, fun woman to literally withering away because of other issues that she was having. So at this point, I think it's safe to say that they pretty much bullied us into our own demise. I saw you, Tammy, at the bottom.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I am sorry for everything that you have went through, and you're very smart never to take another hot sauce again. When I was, at the time all this was going on, I was under contract with the Tennessee Public Health Department, and I basically was working one of those drive-through testing centers. And then when the hot sauce rolled out, I was at a different location, but giving those things. I was there the very first day, and they're like, okay, who wants their shot? You know, first responders can get theirs. And I'm like, well, I need to see the safety data sheet real quick. And that is the information. This is all the side effects. It was a blank piece of paper in that box. There was no information. I found out later why. Because they had done, all clinical trials are 3 parts. Phase 1 and 2 had been done, but the 3rd phase had not been done. And that's where the emergency use authorization was so important, was that it allowed that phase 3 study was real time. It was given millions of people. And I held off for a very, very, very long time. I won't say how many I've had. And I have never caught the C19 monster. I have stayed healthy. I've caught pneumonia a couple times because I don't take vitamin D like I should. But the thing is, I have been in the emergency room when they bring in a 29-year-old who was playing basketball with his friends, and it's what we call a witnessed event. They saw him go down. They called EMS right away. CPR started within minutes, and they still couldn't save him. 29 years old, physically fit, physically active. My first question whenever I hear of something bad happening, did they take it, and how many did they take? Because jobs were requiring it. To travel was requiring it. To go to some restaurants in the beginning. Some friends of mine down in New Orleans were like, yeah, you had to show your card to go to this restaurant to eat.
To go to funerals.
Yeah, that was what I experienced. This was my first time, y'all, ever in life going to Texas. I went down there for my birthday and to visit my friend and my brother. And we had to have that card while I was boarding to get on the plane. It was
from Texas or to Texas?
It was to Texas.
Yo, this right here.
Texas was a hot spot. It was like
That's what they told you.
That's what they said. It was a hot spot. What's crazy is that like I ended up still getting COVID. I still got it like a couple of months later at a party. It was crazy.
You know why they call Texas a hot spot? Because Texas and Florida was directly opposed to President Biden and their mission. DeSantis and Abbott was the only governors that were speaking about common sense. That's why Florida stayed open and Texas, for the most part, stayed open. Had we not had stayed open, these two states that are currently kicking every other state's ass right now when it comes to every category you can think of, we wouldn't be in that position had our governors decided to close our states down. Thank God our governor mandated that you didn't have to get the jab and that jobs couldn't terminate you or not allow you to function or be a functioning member of society based on whether you took some jab or not. Ladies and gentlemen, that shit was the mark of the beast. And I had to come before he put it into law, I had to have that conversation with myself like, hey, big dog, you know, you talk a lot of shit. Are you prepared to really like walk out of this job if they come in here talking about you gotta get jabbed up? And I had to look myself in the eye and be like, bro, I'm not putting that hot shit in my body, bro. Like, is you don't know what it is. They talking about Operation Warp Speed. I'm not taking nothing at Operation Warp Speed. Are you nuts? You want me to put this hot shit in my body and we don't have no idea what the side effects going to be. We have no idea what the long-term effects are going to be. And not only that, what if they implanting something else within it? What if it was some sort of chip and it really was the mark of the beast, or some sort of tracking device in which they're using to keep tabs on all of us, even more so than they already do anyway? I was like, yeah, no. If that means that we got to go live out in the woods somewhere and all that, I don't want to have to do this. It's going to be hard at first, but I would rather do that and look myself in the mirror and be okay with knowing that I stood on business that one time, because life is about moments, bro. When you at your funeral, they're not going to go over your whole life. When they reading your obituary or they talking about the glowing things about you, it's going to be about moments. So in that moment, when things were the thickest, when things were the toughest, when the night was the darkest, what did you do? And for me, I was prepared to walk away from all this shit.
In 2020, I lost my uncle, who was like a father figure to me. March 2020, I had to go to Baltimore for this funeral. And then in May, my older cousin, who's like a brother to my mother, because they were around the same age, even though she's his aunt. I didn't go to this funeral right here because it was in Jersey. And I knew what they were doing in Jersey at funeral. I would have hooked off if they'd have told me put a mask. Because like those two losses for me was so impactful. And I didn't want to deal with that. I just didn't. And the one thing I told people, and Tammy could probably remember me saying this on those lives on Clubhouse, it's one aspect of that happening they never talked about. What happens when you got somebody that loses 10 people in a month? People grieve differently. If you lose one, you might be fucked up. What happens when you lose 10 or 12? Nobody ever talked about that. It's so much, this shit is so diabolical for real that it's crazy. And they refuse to even mention it. There's no way somebody in their 70s should be getting lupus all of a sudden. In their 70s. Are you serious? And then you got people out here saying, I wonder why. Are you what? You can't put 2 and 2 together? Because they don't want to. Nobody wants to admit they made that mistake. Nobody. I've only met a few. Very few. And that's the only way we really still gonna get through this is if they willing to say it. They aren't willing, and they definitely not saying it on mainstream media. Nobody's saying that.
I would love if Stephen A. Smith or somebody along those lines just came out and offered an apology to everybody who decided not to take the jab.
Kyrie Irving,
like
he went off on him.
Think about every single person out there, right? How we were treated, how we were castigated. They wanted to make us social lepers. They wanted to kick us out of society. They bullied us. They mistreated us. They wanted us gone because they thought that we were the ones causing the problems. Whole time, you're not thinking like, bro, they giving you joints for jabs. They're giving you pizza for jabs. You don't think nothing is wrong with that?
Man, they was giving burgers and French fries.
They was giving out $50. They was giving out money. They was bribing everybody. And most of the people that were talking the most vitriol bullshit are so hypocritical, because Don Lemon will tell you in a minute the white man has destroyed this country and you can't trust him, and he lay down with one every night. So I don't believe shit they talking about. Don't believe that shit. They get it's propaganda. They always saying the same sentences. They get paid to say that shit. So whatever. They so full of shit.
You right about that. I don't understand how you that be the thing. I don't understand how you just could sit here as Don Lemon gets on my damn nerves. I'm so serious. Like he gets on my damn nerves. Like you could talk all of this stuff about this, that, and the other about white people. You a whole butthole surfer. So I don't even understand why you want to sit here and try to make it seem. I have been waiting to say that. Y'all have no idea.
And that was that.
It is an ongoing joke in my house right now. This butthole surfer. No disrespect to my gays, I promise you. I have been waiting to say that.
You played that video. You played that video with Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo. I don't know if y'all saw this. Chris Cuomo did a debate with Dave Smith, and Dave Smith lit him up. And Chris Cuomo actually admitted that he's VAXX injured. After all that shit you said, boom. The hypocrisy. This is crazy, yo.
Do y'all remember when? Sorry, I gotta lighten up the mood. Do y'all remember when Cuomo was having that press conference and you could see his nipple rings through his shirt?
No.
What?
No.
There's no way I would be looking. So no, I definitely ain't saying it.
I'm finding the picture he had on a white polo, and you could see his little nipple rings through the shirt. I was just like, you freaky bitch. First of all, you could have put a t-shirt underneath that shirt before you did this press conference, because now we know that you with the shits. I'm sorry. I know we're talking about something serious. Y'all know I ain't got a bit of damn sense. But seriously. Yeah. Chris Cuomo's nipple rings just threw me on another roof. I don't know. Take it to you, G.
I just what I spoke, I just spoke. They just all full of shit. I don't believe nothing from a newscaster. You can't tell me shit about nobody that get paid to come on TV and tell me some propaganda. They speak all the same sentences. I don't believe none of that shit. I believe this podcast more than anything in my whole life that's on the damn digital media. I don't believe it. I don't participate in it. I think it's all propaganda to siphon energy, to get the masses in the same type of energy, to get them on the same type of bullshit. I'm so disenfranchised and disgusted with these damn black Congress people out here acting a damn fool after this Memphis situation. I know that's off topic, but I'm still disgruntled about that shit. And it's all in the same realm of what they paid to do. They are paid to do. They get on the microphone and try to sound like Martin Luther King. It just pisses me off. I mean, and these people are falling for this shit. And that's the worst part of it all. And that's why I'm so glad that the wheat is separated from the tare. So they can go over there and be disgruntled and so depressed. And we going back to slavery all they want. Jump off a bridge.
Are you talking about? That's Andrew. That's the big brother.
That's big bro.
Yeah, you said Chris. No, that's Andrew.
No, I
just had nipple rings.
Hold on. I'm about to show you right now. Hold on.
Lord, I know you lying.
You don't see them, and they like X's. Like you can see them.
That's so unbecoming of a governor.
And this was the governor. Y'all just let anybody do anything, boy.
Back in the day, like they won't let me show it. Son of a gun. Yeah, he had nipple rings. They was all on his ass in the news about them nipple rings. That's how I know. Like that. See, that was when there was some sense of normalcy where we judged stuff. We all judged. Now New York, like this was New York Times, I believe, that I saw it actually in there. But I watched the live press conference, and yeah, I was just like, yo, like, did nobody tell him to put some pasties on or nothing? No. All right.
You got to chill, sis. That's gonna be an ism. And if you drop an ism, you're gonna get canceled. You know,
What
any
kind of
ism,
ism?
any isms these days get canceled. You know, racism,
That's my
sexism,
favorite
feminism.
word.
Any ism get you canceled these days. That's how they use. That's the tool that they use to destroy us all. The isms.
So nipple ring
Any
ism?
ism. Yeah, nipple ring
Everything
ism.
is
Oh yeah, she's a nippleist or a nippleismist. Yeah, now the people out there about to say you discriminating against folks who got Muslim. I mean, who got
I'm not discriminating.
nipple
I
rings
think
or
nipple
whatnot.
rings are beautiful, but not on like somebody who is in such a high position with a shirt on. You knew
That's
them nipple.
governorism. That's governorism. You're saying that because he's the governor, that he doesn't have the right to be a regular citizen like you and me. That's governorism. You can get canceled over that.
Them nipple rings is taking me to the king right now. Let me stop.
Just admit it turned you off, and that's what you don't like.
No, I don't. Listen, hey, you know, it's all right. It's all right. I don't discriminate against people in their nipple rings. Just put some pasties on when you're doing press conferences. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So we're gonna go ahead and move to the next topic. Now, this is about retailer jobs and cost of living, which I'm quite sure a lot of us we kind of experienced the changes when it came to that. Shopping, working, just trying to afford life. Retail changed drastically after 2020. Tiff just talked about how Walmart's is no longer 24 hours. There's no 24 hours really anything anymore. Well, no, I think Taco Bell maybe still be 24 hours, but there's not a lot. And we saw shorter hours of self-checkouts everywhere. Long lines, staff shortages, online ordering, curbside pickup, gig economy definitely shot to the roof, even though people were wearing masks around that time, and less customer service. In my opinion, customer service went to shit after 2020, went to boo-boo, hot steaming boo-boo. That's where customer service is right now. And I believe before 2020, shopping felt normal. It felt like an experience, honestly. I'm like Tiffany. I used to enjoy shopping late at night when none of y'all weird asses was there. I just really did. And you could go into a store, find help, and they speak English. They didn't need to translate with you using a cell phone with an app. And now sometimes it feels like you're doing half the job your damn self. I feel like I should be getting paid to shop at this point. I still don't know why we don't have any type of lawsuit against Walmart for them hiring so many people who don't speak English at all. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be racist or prejudiced at all. However, this is America. We do have a language. And Fu, I'm quite sure you can attest to this with what you actually do in your spare time as well. Same with me. It definitely has become a bit difficult to navigate with a language barrier when it comes to dealing with customer service. So do you think that retail changed because of necessity, corporate opportunity, or a bit of both? I saw your face, Tiff. Why you said what you think?
They set that shit up. I told you they made it so, excuse me, I'm eating ice, but they made it so we all had to be in one place at the same time. We forced to be in places that's overcrowded, overpopulated. You got less patience. You're anxious. It's just a lot. They did that shit on purpose. Absolutely. And if you don't remember, that's when they ushered in the furniture shortage and the wood shortage for construction. And housing market went through the fucking roof. A house around the corner would be $50,000. Now it's $350,000. Same raggedy ass house though.
Yeah.
And so they did that on purpose. It was designed. We just talked about it is nothing that's happening right now in 2026 that is not designed. We are living outside of that bubble. That's the only thing that is. We are operating outside of the bubble because we know there is one. But absolutely, they set this shit up so I can be miserable and got to look at your ass cracking Walmart.
We call Walmart out here Wakanda.
Okay.
I like to blame the NBA for all of
We
this.
call it Wakanda. Listen, don't nobody in that bitch speak English. Not a soul.
It's the NBA. The NBA going global. That's what did all this. And not only that, it was the NBA was the first major organization to shut down back in 2020. They was the first domino to fall. Once they did, all the other sports leagues shut down. Then after that, society as a whole started shutting down. That's when they started talking about you got to put only 6 people on the bus. During 2020, life was affordable. Hell, prices was as good as they've ever been in life. Gas was cheap as hell. You can go to the grocery store and rock out. Your rent was still affordable. It wasn't until 2021 when Joe Biden took office, almost like day one, everything went through the roof.
Well, I can say this. When I first moved back to Indianapolis, because Indianapolis around this time was considered, it's a major city, it's the capital, but it's affordable. So it's like you still get the metropolitan type style city, but it still was affordable. I literally moved here 2021, I think was when I got my place. I had a 3-bedroom, full basement, full backyard, 2 levels by myself. My rent was $750 a month. $750 a month. I moved. The apartment that I'm in right now is smaller. I love it because I'm near downtown. I pay almost close to double that. Maybe I would say maybe about $400 more that I'll probably have to pay once I renew my lease, because it's just costing too much to even move. I don't want to even move anywhere because so many bad people have invested in communities, invested in apartments that you don't know what you're going to get. We've seen an influx. I don't know where you're from, Tammy. If you're from California, I apologize. But Californians, no disrespect to y'all, but y'all moving to these small cities is messing with the cost of living. It's also messing with the politics, because you're moving to a Democrat city and you're leaving a liberal, progressive, far left city that you voted for, those people that screwed your city up. So now you're running to other cities and you're bringing the same politics that fucked up your city to these small cities. I'm looking around Indianapolis. Granted, it's a Democrat-ran city, but I knew something was different when I was driving downtown and I seen a grown man with a thong on pushing his child in a stroller. It ain't never had to be this liberal. No. If that's what you on, that's what you on. Nobody is tripping on your sexuality or who you choose to be. But when I'm seeing more rainbow flags than American flags, than the state flags, that lets me know that we have kind of had a change of people that may have moved here over the past couple of years. And I know I'm not the only one that's seen this in their city, because I remember in Texas, and I got buddies down there in Texas, they was pissed off when Meta built that data center down there. And the first thing that they said is that, oh, Lord, please don't let these people from California move here and bring their ways to our city.
We say it all the time, don't California my Texas.
Listen, I love you people. Shout out to my people out there in California, but y'all got to keep that progressive liberal bullshit out there.
Why don't they just stay in California and fix their shit that they messed up?
Because
y'all
they don't
voted
want
y'all
to.
policy, y'all ruined y'all state. It was the most beautiful state with the most natural resources. You ruined it. You should stay in there and deal with your shit. Y'all are all from California. You love your little liberal loony land love letters and all the other bullshit you love to write online. Why don't you stay behind and fix your state? If you get it back right, it'll be the California that it always was. Y'all got amusement parks. You got farmland. You got the coast. You can go skiing in one day. You can go surfing in the same exact day. I mean, it's fucking California. What are we talking about? Why do you want to leave? Stop coming to Texas. We don't want you here. Let us eat our brisket. Let us ride our little horses. Let us do the shit that we like to do down here in Texas without y'all trying to come down here and turn it blue. We don't want it blue. It's red for a reason. I'm sorry, I just had to say that because even though I'm from Baltimore, I've been in Texas long enough. I count as a Texan, and I see what they be talking about. Don't bring that liberal bullshit down here, bro. If you wanted it to be like that, then just stay where you at. It's working down here the way that it is. Quit trying to change that shit.
I've said this before, and people kind of gloss over it. This country moves based on how California and New York moves.
Facts.
However that shit is going, the rest of the country kind of follows suit to a certain extent. And California and New York have been fucked up for a while. And now California, depending on how this goes, with this mayoral race and that governor race, we might see somewhat of a shift. But that New York shit, they took a million steps back. Because Shannon said something when we first started this shit about the enemy within and everything like that and what happened in New York and all of that. 25 years later, they elected the enemy. Literally.
That doesn't make a bit of sense.
Everything was against that particular group. Everything in New York was against that group. And they literally, 25 years later, they elected the enemy to run the largest fucking city in the country. And he is destroying this shit within 5 months, making
that shit don't make no sense, bro. That shit don't make a bit of sense, man. It's kind of like, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's similar to, like, shout out to my people out there in New Orleans. I know y'all, going through some things right now when it comes to this whole redistricting situation. But what I don't understand is that y'all just recently started even voting Republican. It's been Democrat ran, I think, up to like 2019 or something like that. Like it was Democrat for a long time. In fact, I don't remember, and I watched this when it came to the Katrina situation. Everybody was talking about how bad of a job that Bush did, but it was a Democrat governor and mayor, and a Democrat mayor that was over New Orleans and Louisiana. And she literally sat in a press conference and was telling people to shoot the people who was out there, like, going into the stores and getting shit. But y'all glossed completely over that. This bitch died with that in her heart. She never suffered the consequences. She never got bad press from that. All the press went on Bush. Not saying that I was a Bush fan, not saying that Bush did a great job, but Bush was only going off according to what they were getting from the governor. So if the governor is telling y'all, hey, I'm going to call and see if I can get some assistance for one center, the governor was literally not telling them that it was more than 2 places where people were actually going to get protection from what happened with Katrina. So they were only preparing for one place when there was 2. And it's like, we trust Democrats again. So let's go ahead and just elect them and make sure that we always blame this all on Republicans. The same thing when it comes to other areas down south, like y'all just really started voting the way that you're voting. And it's like you forgot what happened during these times. You forgot what happened during 2020. People forgot the fact that we were literally just getting on our feet. We were just getting on our feet. The country was starting to, like, go up. Jobs was reopening. Retailers were reopening. Corporations got their little funky ass bailouts. Banks got their little funky ass bailouts. Everybody was like, okay, I could breathe a little bit. In March, at the end of March, shit fell. And I watched the documentary the other day where corporations was talking about before 2020, they were seeing record numbers for their businesses. I'm talking about the Hilton, IMAX, JetBlue. All of these corporations were seeing record numbers, so much so that they couldn't even believe that they was making so much money around that time.
Hold up, Mark. This is the thing that's crazy, and this is a conversation we had on the Clubhouse panel. Do y'all realize that what they did and when they did it, it destroyed everything positive that Trump was doing up until that time, because the economy was popping, and as soon as it was about to hit its peak, we called it. It was like, watch they blame everything on Trump. They're gonna forget about the first 3 years. They're gonna forget about all that shit, and that's exactly what the fuck they did. They literally destroyed his legacy. Which, and mind you, this is with opposition. Remember, he had opposition from all sides. His first time, it was whatever accomplishments he had, he did that shit raw. And as soon as this shit hit, Everybody forgot. Everybody forgot.
Before Mark says something, y'all don't notice that it's never a natural, like it's never a big tragedy or anything like that really happens when Democrats be in position. It's never anything that's like absolutely crazy that takes place that's so like that really makes this transition, except for like when Biden just literally just had that fire or the hurricane that took place down there. Even with the hurricane, Trump wasn't even in office and he was down there helping those people out.
And he was getting blamed for it. He still was getting blamed.
And he was getting blamed for it. When he got in office the first time, they just had a hurricane. I think they had like a hurricane that happened out there in Puerto Rico, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was under Biden. That was under Obama. But soon as he came in, because he throwing toilet paper, he throwing paper towels, so we got to blame him. Like, no, man. Like, y'all be forgetting shit. I'm here to remind you. Stop making it seem as if like one politician is better than the next shit without y'all even looking at the fact that y'all recently just started going red. Y'all been blue this long. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you know, these Republicans are racist. They're just racist people. We just got to keep them in position when you've been blown blue this whole goddamn time and your community is falling apart. Make it make sense, man.
From someone with a 775
You said, you know how we have this outrage right now that's going on in Tennessee?
What's that?
The outrage with them doing this redistricting in Tennessee. You've heard about that.
Of course.
And they talk about how the black people losing their right to vote and all this other shit. Do y'all realize that the representative for Tennessee is a white Jewish dude and been there for 20 years, and they on TV right now talking about black representation? Why ain't y'all vote one in? Oh my God, man! These
Only 11% of voter turnout. Only 11% voter turnout. 11%.
They ain't even voting.
11%.
They're not voting. They're not voting. That's the thing.
Aren't you in Tennessee, Tammy?
I'm from Tennessee, so I'm aware of everything. I actually live in Nashville, but I'm actually in Jeffersonville, Indiana right now, so I'm literally right near you, Shannon. But it's, people try to get the word out to go vote, but people have lost faith in the system.
Yes, they have.
We've got to build it back.
I'm not going to hold you, Tammy. I wasn't sure if I was going to vote last week. I really wasn't, because I am not happy with the way the Republicans have been running Indiana. I do not. I'm so like the governor right here that we have. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably, aside from Obama, this was the one vote that I regret.
It's a mask. The
It's a mess.
Republicans are wearing a mask. I'm so sorry. It's just like, to me, they're all Democrats. They're all on the side of the wide path going to nothing versus taking the high road. Nobody takes the high road in politics.
Yes.
Pro wrestling, they all friends in the back. They all hang out with each other. They all kick it. When they in DC, they all party together. It's not like, oh, I don't hang out with you because you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. No, it's, hey, bro, we're going to go get lunch. We're going to go talk all of this bullshit on the floor and do and play the game. And then when we get off the floor, we're going to go live our regular lives and be friends like we never even had this shit happen before. This is just how it is. And people have to really accept that the Democrat versus Republican thing is kind of much more of an illusion than anybody would ever really want to like believe. It's really not real. It's kind of a scam. I mean, yeah, there are people who have Republican ideologies, but most of those folks aren't in power. In fact, I would argue the only real Republican that's in power right now is probably Trump. And I think that like he's not even a real Republican, because most of his policies is all of his policies is if you go back and look at the Democratic policies from the 90s, everything that Trump is doing right now is all the shit that they was doing back then.
Do you know that I think I'm gonna have to look up what year it was, but I was looking at this earlier because I was gonna make a video about the whole redistricting thing. Do you know that like 40 Democrats went to the Republican side out there in New Orleans around like 2000? I think it was maybe 2019. They switched sides and went and started running as Republicans. And the thing is that probably wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't, but we kind of know how the South is. Like the South can kind of be, it's like, damn, like I hear you, how you feel about the Republicans, especially like in Mississippi, they have a Republican governor. but then you have Democrats that run the cities. So I kind of be seeing how people could kind of be swayed, but I feel like this is one of the reasons why it's so important for us to do our homework when it comes to whoever we choose. Like, you need to look up their resume. You need to look up what they were like 20 years. If you got to look up what they were like 20 years ago, what was your values 20 years ago? What was your values 15 years ago? You got to like really like do research on these people, because so many people have switched sides. They've switched sides over the last few years.
Well, why would I do that, sis? Why would I research when I can look at my phone and my timeline is filled with asses shaking, it's filled with schemes to make money, it's filled with hair braiding, it's filled with funny dance moves, it's filled with lies and propaganda that'll keep me occupied all day long. Why would I ever go back and do real research?
Yeah.
When society has programmed me to be an idiot, why would I go back and try to do research and figure out how 1 + 1 actually makes 2? Why would I do that?
Don't forget about the fake eyelashes.
Hold on. Hey, sir. Hey, sir. I like lashes too.
Your
okay?
lashes don't be looking like this.
Nah, you know they call them
Cumbrellas. I'm sorry, I'm about to say that.
I'm sorry.
That's what they call them, though. Do you know that's why? I don't think a lot of people know that that's one of the reasons why women back in the day used to wear them long lashes, because the prostitutes used to wear them because it was to catch the
ski.
God damn.
So I didn't want to keep. I want to make sure that I get through these last 2 prompts. I'm sorry, everybody, that we running over, and I'm sorry to keep you here so long, Tammy. But everybody in the comments, appreciate you all for still sticking with us. Make sure you all like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this live, please. We having some good tea going on up in here. So we're gonna get to the health, wellness, and medical and trust. Now let's talk about health. After 2020. Health became one of the biggest conversations in America. Immunity, food, medicine, exercise, vitamins, natural remedies, pharmaceuticals, everything became part of the conversation. People started asking questions like, what am I eating? What am I putting in my body? Do I trust my doctor? Do I trust the hospital? Do I trust public health officials? Do I trust the media explaining this to me, Fauci? For some people, the questioning was necessary. I was definitely one of them. And for others, it became a bit overwhelming. So let's open this up. Do you think that 2020 made Americans more health conscious or more health anxious, Tammy?
I think that the events of 2020 made susceptible Americans more willing to be lemmings and just follow the narrative. And in doing so, their health is downgraded tremendously.
I agree.
And
I agree, Tammy.
that woke up, we
This
don't
is
take
true.
the hot sauce anymore. And I have some info about the newest hot sauce about to come out.
Go ahead, share it.
Okay.
Share it, please.
2024, Moderna got a patent for an mRNA hot sauce for hantavirus. They're working on it right now.
Do you think that this could have something that's in alignment with Project 2030?
It possibly could. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but when I started researching the hantavirus, and it's different types of rodents carry different strains. And the only strain we have to really worry about is the Andes variant, which is the one that's on the cruise ship right now. But yesterday, today's Monday, so yesterday, May 10th, the CDC put out a information sheet, and it was basically regarding, if you let me just look at my phone for a second, because I've got it right here. It is for the public health departments, okay? And it is the interim guidelines for public assessment and management of people with potential exposure to the Andes virus. Well, what's happening right now, the people that our government is flying back in, the ones from the cruise ship, they're either in a bio lockdown on the airplane right now, and they're going somewhere. How long are they going to be locked down?
I think it's Kansas. I'm not sure.
I think it's Kansas or Nebraska, one of the two. But how long? And when it becomes where they're PCR testing everybody, and that's what I found odd, was that my first research says it has a blood test, and now I'm hearing it's a PCR test, and I'm like, well, we know how accurate those are not actually. They're not that accurate. They'll tell you if you've got something, but it won't tell you you've got the one thing that matters. And that's what happened back in December of 2020. Everybody had C19. Nobody had flu.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I heard flu not one damn time, let alone a common cold.
Which is the coronavirus.
That's something else. That's something else. Anybody want to touch on that?
I think that what she just said is accurate, 100% spot on. And I think that health in general has declined. I think that they have poisoned the food, the water, and our minds to the point where the toothpaste is out of the tube. Like Tiffany said earlier, I don't believe it's any saving the masses. It's just a few people out there who can understand how to live off of the land, how to be self-sufficient, and how to do things for yourself. Because at the end of the day, no matter where you go, what company you purchase anything from, even when you're trying to buy health food, even when you're trying to be health conscious, you're finding out that those things are all deception tactics. Like, for example, the test. I was hearing reports that whenever you would take the test, that the test was giving you back false positives, saying that you had the disease or the COVID or whatever y'all want to call it, and you really didn't actually have it. Like she was saying, it's funny how the flu magically disappeared that year, and the common cold magically disappeared that year. But anything under the sun, even a stomach ache, they was ready to label it as C19. And I think that impacted our psyche mentally, because so many people were trying to be health conscious. And it made them health anxious. And by them being health anxious, they started doing things that rapidly deteriorated their health. I think the people who were truly health conscious, as in people who were not so easily swayed by the nonsense that was being portrayed by the media, and understood that there's certain things that you can do to heal yourself. There are certain remedies that are already been put on the earth for you to heal yourself. And it's crazy how they could easily push that messaging that you can heal yourself from this. You can come back from this if you just use these simple remedies right here at your own house. But they didn't want to tell you that because there's no money in it. It's money in getting the jabs and all this other shit. This is how they was going to make their money. And then since the government bought all of these from Big Pharma, they wasn't about to let all that shit go to waste. Somebody was going to get that hot shit. And unfortunately, the uninformed were the ones who fell for it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
During that time, with me doing Instacart, you could not buy hand sanitizer, you couldn't buy wipes, you couldn't buy paper towels, and you could not buy toilet tissue.
Yeah, man, y'all was tripping on the toilet paper. So I mean, like, was you getting COVID in your booty hole? Like, what was the point of that?
Here's the thing. They kept pushing that on the news. You know what was packed during that time while they was buying all that shit up? The turmeric was all there. The garlic was all there. The everything that you can heal yourself. The cilantro, all of that shit. I'm talking about. I watched this in real time, and I'm like, y'all got to be the most gullible motherfuckers I've ever seen on the planet, because everything you need to do to heal yourself is right over there. But y'all buying all the toilet. I swear, during that time when I was doing Instacart, I don't think I was able to buy toilet tissue or paper towels for about 2 months. At all. It was always on there. People always ordered it. Never was able to get it.
I was grateful about that time, because let me tell you something. Even though I was homeless, I was too bougie to like sleep on I still had a job. I had 2 jobs. And I was staying in Airbnbs, and I was like, let me make sure I stay in like a very nice one. I would rent Airbnbs for like 2 weeks sometimes. And they stayed stocked, so I never have to worry about buying any toilet paper. Shout out to them.
I had a toilet paper plug. I was getting 4 for the 10.
I ain't had to buy that shit. I wasn't buying
I
it.
was plugged in.
In fact, they had days where you could go, and according to your zip code, where you could go to the grocery store and you could be limited to one. It was such the most bullshit I have ever seen. Paper towel and tissue. On Wednesdays, you could go to the store.
We can't hear you.
Okay,
we can't hear you.
My fact. I had made a video about something that TikTok wouldn't even let me post it. I think because it had fat in it. And I spoke about how it was crazy how around that time they was encouraging us to just be fat. Like the fat acceptance, the body positivity movement, Lizzo and Megan Trevor Trainer, whatever the hell her name is. Like it was so much like be fat and be happy, eat what you want. Mukbangs became a big thing around that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
What is that?
Mukbangs. First of all, let me just say, leave it to America to take something from another country and just completely ruin it.
I was just about to say,
mukbangs actually started out in Asia. And what they used to do is they would just eat all of these beautiful, colorful foods. And it was like, what is this? ASMR, something like that. And it was more so like the sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the food, because it's from another country, it was always like really pretty and laid down really nice. And it would be these small Asian people. They were healthy. They were healthy people. And they would just eat this food and they would just sit there and eat. And they'll have the microphone and you could kind of hear it. And it would be like stimulating to your senses, whatnot. But they wasn't just gorging out on like McDonald's and Burger King. And it took somebody named Tisha Payola, or whatever the hell her name is. She took it from over there and brought it over here. And that's how we have this obsession with having these mukbangs. So mukbangs are just pretty much you just sitting down eating a whole bunch of damn food. It's gluttony at its finest. And these people get paid massive amounts of money. I remember there was this guy named Nicky Avocado who was like 400, 500 pounds. He started out as a vegan, bro. He was literally probably about maybe 120 pounds soaking wet. By the time he got into the mukbang, he ended up ballooning to like 600 pounds. Damn. And he would just eat. And there's people out here who still do this. They have a couple of content creators that make a lot of money just stuffing their faces with massive amounts of food, not thinking about cardiac arrest, not thinking about their health at all. And they get paid really well.
Didn't that dude just have a stroke doing that doing a live?
No, he actually ended up getting Ozempic, which is another part of what I wanted to talk about.
There's a dude that just some dude was doing that recently. He got popular for eating online. He had a stroke on the live. Literally.
Well, possibly because they don't be eating like you got to look at it. This is overseas. So and Tiff, you lived out there in Asia. You probably know that like the food out there is like 10 times probably more cleaner than the shit that we get out here. They're literally sitting eating Big Macs, pizzas, fried chicken, cakes. There's one chick who was just eating seafood all the time. And they would just sit and they would eat these massive amounts of food. And then look, now all of a sudden we got this big thing with the GLP-1s. You got Wegovy, you got Zepbound, you got Ozempic. So they encourage the masses to be fat and to be overweight. But then now all of a sudden everybody want to get liposuction, everybody want to get the sleeve, everybody want to take all of these GLP-1 apps, never mind the fact that the side effects of the shit is worse than you being fat overall. So you can't even enjoy being skinny because you might lose your damn liver in the process. Bitch, I want to see what I look like. It's people out here that's going blind taking GLP-1. So I gotta lose. You got Serena Williams, one of the most athletic athletes, body of a goddess. Beautiful. She online looking like a Lion King taking a GLP-1 app. We don't even recognize who she is anymore. So this is kind of where it got us at when it comes to the health system. Pharmaceutical companies have gotten out of control now. Yeah. We're seeing more pharmaceuticals, more things, more medicines that are worse than the actual issue. And I know y'all see it on TV. Well, Tiff, you don't watch TV. but we see it like every 5 minutes.
One day, some years ago, I happened to be watching one of those pharmaceutical a pill commercial or something like that, whatever medicine they were pushing. On TV, they said one of the side effects was death. I'll never
yes.
I will never forget. I was like, y'all just said this on TV and somebody gonna take this shit.
All the time.
But can you imagine getting a headache and you get vaginal dryness at the same time?
Oh man.
Can you imagine like having a skin condition, but at the same time you get erectile dysfunction? So your penis can't get hard, and now you stuck with skin conditions. This shit is, and now they got something for the kids, y'all. They got something for the kids. The kids are now it's a new medicine. They got what they got, Caplyta. They got a bunch of shit. Who be sitting around making up these names? I have no idea. But I know you get tired, Tammy.
No, actually, there was one thing that has greatly changed since 2020, and you've hit it. It is the food has changed. It is now cheaper to buy the junky food, and you've seen all the videos where people have had a McDonald's cheeseburger stuck in a closet for a couple of years, and it still looks like a McDonald's cheeseburger. But even those that are trying to grow their own food, look at the chemtrails we see every day. And whenever I see the chemtrails, I make a video, I post it on TikTok. If I forget and I use the word poison, I have violated community standards.
But it is.
They aluminum, barium, strontium, that's what they're spreading up there, and God knows what else. They're all poisons. They're in our air, our soil, our water.
This is
and I just spill all my water. And what I have left over is the contaminants in the water. And I have recently here in Indiana discovered that the contaminant is this white powder. And it dawned on me after maybe a dozen times of distilling that this contaminant dissolves in water, evaporates with water, recondenses with water. I can't get rid of it. I don't know what it is, but it makes a white powder.
Yeah, it does. You think it's the atrazine?
I have no idea. If someone wants to pay to have it tested, I have a sample.
That's insane. That's insane. So we already kind of touched on this one, so we're going to keep this short because we don't want them to shut us down. You know, they want us to forget about shit, y'all. They really want us to forget about shit. We just showed y'all how y'all acted a whole ass out here when it came to this hot sauce. So now we're going to get into this. Now, the vaccination debate, and I want to say this clearly before we start. This is not about attacking anyone for their own personal health choices. If this is what you decided to do, that is on you. This is about discussing how the conversation impacted America because the vaccination debate, it became bigger than the medicine itself. The conversation, the division between family members, the way that the news was coming down on us about doing it, jobs, people losing their jobs, professionals, doctors, nurses, were losing their jobs when it came to this. And I think it became more about, it became about trust, freedom, employment, family, politics, public responsibility. People lost friends over the shit. Families argued over it. So did acts or not acts permanently change how people view personal choices and public responsibility, Tammy?
I can say that there were people that will absolutely X all the way. You can't change their minds about it. Don't waste your time trying to. You've got those that are like, should or shouldn't. No, those are the people you should talk to. Whether or not you choose to is your personal decision. But personally, the ingredients that are in the hot sauces are not things I need in my body. I already have one medical condition. All I need in my life is just this one. I can't get rid of it. But if I take things, medications, or even something as simple like, the CBD, I tried it once. I did not do well with me. And I just said, nope, no more. There's things I won't touch because I know it affects me badly. And I know these things will be affecting me badly. Yeah. And therefore it's my choice what not to do.
Absolutely. What you think, Fool? I know that this was hot. This was a hot topic for you when it came to resisting the hot sauce.
It's not, honestly, just you mentioning this is crazy to me. And Michael just hit it on the head for me. How is it that in one instance, my body, my choice, you all for it, but in this instance, my body, my choice, then I'm the enemy. I'm good. Mind you talking to somebody, if I get a headache, I don't even take anything for that. I go lay down. I don't take anything for anything. Everything with me is as natural as it's going to get. And it's like I said when we used to be on Clubhouse. People have been getting sick since the beginning of time. People have been dying since the beginning of time. There is no way you're going to make something specifically for every single person who have different traits, different things going on in their body, and it's going to fix them. That makes no sense. That's not logical. So I'm good. I'm fine. If you want to ostracize me, I love it. I will rub it all in my chest, and you can keep it because I'm not doing it. There is no way. This shit is just, it's repetitive. The script is the same, and the fact that people actually posting about this shit, like I said to y'all, stop giving this shit any energy. Don't give this shit any. Don't give it any energy. That's all they want. They want to see this all over Facebook. They want to see this all over social media. Don't do it. We don't do it. We win.
I don't go.
Do
nowhere.
not comply. Do not comply. That's the whole thing. Do not comply. Do not comply.
I'll be in the house. That's what I'm saying. Blessing. 2020 blessing. I work from home. I don't gotta leave unless I really need something, and I go in and I come back out. Like, I don't have time for that mess. So anything you want to say, G?
Yeah, right. I'm not falling for it. I haven't been falling for it. I was stuck out of the country for the first time, and I got the one that they had already said was a placebo, and it was one shot, and then I detoxed from that. It'll be a cold day in hell. I don't even let my son get all these vaccinations anymore. If it ain't the standard base shit to keep him registered in the school, it's absolutely not. I'm not going for it this time around. The next time, I'm gonna tell my grandkids don't get none of the shit, and then we're gonna be fine. It's like you said. What Mark call it? It's that hot shit.
The hot shit, man.
I'm not on it. I'm not on it. Burn yourself. You're not gonna burn me with that shit.
And see, that's the like kind of like what I really want people to think about, like whether you got it or not, whether you got it or you didn't get it. Like the bigger question is, why the hell y'all became so in y'all feelings about what the fuck somebody else got? Like, when did it become so hostile? Why and why you want to lure me in with some food? Like that's what we like. I don't think people really understood the play at that time. Like, they were really trying to give us burgers and french fries and hamburgers and pizza and $50. Like, what? Like,
that should have been a telltale sign.
That should have definitely been that really was the banana in the tailpipe. What'd you say, Mark?
Don't forget the joints and the beers too.
Who was giving out joints?
They was giving out joints for jabs. Yeah,
Yes.
joints for jabs. Absolutely.
Yes, joints for jabs.
And that's
Oh
this is
my
also
God.
based on what happened. That's why I know one of the classics that we grew up with is "Back That Thing Up" by Juvenile. I lost all respect for him, and I don't give a fuck about him or that song once he made "Backs That Thing Up." I'm good.
Listen, I didn't
lost
even know
all
that shit
respect for that man.
existed until Ray Sean showed me.
I'm
I
good.
think y'all should take. I think
Girl, you
everyone should
look
take
good
that.
when you vax that thing up. You a handsome young brother when you vax that thing up.
That's why you should take the vax. That's exactly why you should take the vax. Everybody saying no, you shouldn't take it. I think you should take it. At 2026, if this is a conversation for you, after everything that you've seen, after everything that you know, after all the information that is out there and available for you, if you are having this conversation right now today, take the vax.
The same motherfuckers that think we slaves next week, and because we can't vote no more, is the same motherfuckers gonna take it too.
Yeah, just go ahead and take
right
the vax.
ahead.
Just go ahead and take the vax, bro. Just go ahead and take it.
Shannon, did you know that there's one way that they are being very sneaky with getting people to take vaccinations?
I already know what you're gonna say because you said it. You said it. I know exactly what she's getting ready, so I can write it down.
What is it?
No. Studies. They'll pay people over $1,000. Enroll in this study. Delray Laboratories, based right out of New Orleans, they do studies everywhere, and I caught them doing one near Nashville. So I called up pretending to be interested. It was mRNA. It was for flu or something. But the thing is, it was over $1,000. And if you're hurting for money or if you're wanting your substance of choice, you'll go do it.
Tammy,
Yeah,
please
hurting
tell
for
them what
money,
you told.
hurting for squirting. That's what you're hurting for because you're gonna get you mess around.
Please tell the panel what you used to say on Clubhouse or what they was doing with the spinach.
The spinach.
What they were shooting into the spinach. Remember, you was the first person.
I remember that.
They are still playing with our food. They are trying to incorporate they're having a difficult time making it reproduce itself. So they have to just keep shooting it in. But if they can put the poison on the food and we unknowingly ingest it and it can survive our digestive system without killing us, they're going to get it in us one way or another. Bill Gates is a eugenist. He wants everybody vaccinated. He doesn't want to get vaccinated.
I'm so ready for him to
he
go
wants
somewhere.
everyone to eat his hot sauce, basically.
I'm sick of his ass. You done ruined the apple cider vinegar. Get your ass on somewhere, man. Dog ass.
I wish some herpes would have inflamed and killed it. I mean, and took him
Man.
out. I just wish he would have be gone already for real.
He a real life butthole surfer. He a butthole surfer
all that
too.
farmland, bro. You should have known.
I'm getting running a lab over in China.
Well, listen, we're gonna dip into this last one and then we're gonna end the live. I really wanted to tap into this because originally we were going to talk about frequency and energy, and we definitely got to talk about churches, faith, and spirituality. Now I want to shift this because churches was deeply impacted after 2020. Some churches closed, some moved online, some people came back, some never returned. I was one of those people. For some people, 2020 strengthened their faith. For others, it made them question organized religion, leadership, and whether the church was prepared to respond to real life crisis. At the same time, we saw more people talking about spirituality, about energy, about meditation, holistic healing, ancestral practices, and alternative ways of understanding life. So this is a layered conversation. I could definitely say for myself, I discovered my spiritual side once I came back here. I come from a very religious family. Everybody's in the church, not this one. I did my thing when it comes to church, and I after going through such a traumatic period with being homeless, being in that abusive relationship, dealing with this pandemic, rebuilding my entire life, it really definitely taught me to fall in love with myself and to seek the God within myself, as opposed to the one that's outside of myself. And I think that a lot of people learned more about spirituality. I don't know if y'all noticed around this time, this is when people was getting the waist beads. You were starting to see a lot of people get off into meditation, into Reiki healing. It definitely became a big thing for people to get off into their spiritual side. So do you all think that 2020 strengthened people's faith or exposed the weakness within the church? I'm gonna start with you, Mark.
I think it exposed the weakness within the church, to be honest with you. If you really had faith in whatever it is that you have faith in, how in the world could you allow yourself to listen and be swayed by the nonsense and the disinformation and misinformation that's being disseminated to you by all of the major publications? Like, if you really had faith in your creator, then you would know that all of this is a lie and it's nonsense, and that they're trying to poison you, and that there's a much more nefarious reason for all of this happening, especially the timing of all of it. Nothing in this world is a coincidence.
What you think, Tiff? She paused. I think she paused. Tammy, I'll go to you.
Okay. I think it proved that churches were weak because government managed to get church leaders to tell people, you need to go get your hot sauce. You need to go get it. You need to go get it. Personally, I've always had faith, but I will say I had a really bad divorce in 2014, and I just didn't go back to church. I always had faith, I never lost it. But I was really fortunate that I found a way to continue to learn, and it was called Torah Club. And I learned more in the first 4 years I was with them, just once a week, basically a Bible study class. And my faith has expounded tremendously. And there's a lot of things that I do know. There are a lot of things that I believe in, but I walk behind Jesus. I am like right behind him. And Fu, Friday morning when you texted me, I had gotten out of bed 30 minutes prior, but before getting up, I just said, God, show me a path, put me in the right direction I need to go. And then I got your text message. So thank you.
More than welcome.
I love that. Oh, I love that. What you think, Fu?
It's a little bit of both. And I say that because you had, and Tammy hit it on the head, you had the people in the church telling you to get it. But at the same time, y'all supposed to be talking about the mark of the beast, like for real. And you supposed to be a person's comfort, but you pretty much forcing them to do something that they may not want to do. And it wasn't a place of like, it wasn't that place anymore. And then you factor in, because of their standing, they still about their money. And they were hit like dog shit because they weren't allowed to let people in. Like, this was crazy when you really think about it. The government pretty much destroyed their industry, and they still pushed it.
Yeah,
it didn't matter. They still pushed it no matter what. And I did find it funny for the Bible thumpers to be telling you, oh, you should get it, you need to do this. And when you say, well, that's the mark of the beast, they had every excuse of why it wasn't. Every single one. And they took it quick. They were the first. They hit them first. They hit the churches and the old people first.
Man, I dived into I definitely took the spirituality role heavy. Like, I took it heavy. I got into I used to read tarot. I used to do it online. Every day.
Miss Cleo.
Nah, I was the real deal though. Miss Cleo was fake. I learned about astrology. I learned about numerology. I learned about I learned a lot about it. And it was kind of difficult for me because, like I said, my family is very religious, so I hid it for a long time. And I was scared, you know what I mean, to tell my mom that I got off into it because I was scared that I was going to get judged, I was going to get shamed. It always made a difference what my family thought about me, you know what I'm saying? But after a while, I was just like, the fuck, I'm grown as hell. Like, this is something I want to look into. I mean, I don't do it anymore, but I was interested in knowing. And I honestly feel like that I think I probably learned more about spirituality and religion during that time, which is one of the reasons why I just kind of just go the straight and narrow. I don't fall to either side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see myself as being somebody that feels as if the only way for me to contact God is through somebody who claims to be a man or woman of God telling me how to contact God, connect with God. I learned my own way. And I think a lot of people honestly got to that point to where they was like, okay, you know what? This feels a little bit more genuine and more authentic for me. For me to pray, for me to talk to God the way I'm talking to y'all. You know what I mean? For me to not feel as if I need to go to a building in order for me to connect with God. I think that like this kind of gave people the open door to explore their ancestral lineage, to figure out, okay, maybe it is okay for me to start like connecting with my ancestors more. Why do I need to hate my ancestors, or why do I need to look at my ancestors as demons? So I think that like religion, it still plays a huge part in our day-to-day lives, but I think that people started asking more questions of where it came from. How did it get to this point? Is it really helping me? Is there something that I noticed that I'm not really comfortable with in church? And why is that? And I think that people started praising God and worshiping Jesus in their own way. and they didn't need anybody to tell them how to do it. They went within. And I appreciate that. I appreciate more people that went within instead of like following what somebody is telling them that they need to do in order to connect with the Most High or connect with the Messiah. And it just allowed more people to see the Jesus within themselves, because a lot of people don't see that. They don't see how they could be saviors of humanity. They don't see how they can help their communities more, even without even leaving the house. Just pick your phone up and do something smart that's going to help out humanity instead of doing something that's going to take them down a deeper, bigger hole. What you saying to me? I got to bounce at 7:45 to get on the Zoom. That sounds like playing. No, we about to get up out of here though. But I really wanted to touch on that spirituality shit because it's a big topic that's going on right now where people are actually deconstructing religion. It's heavy right now. We talked about it last time when it came to the Divine Nine. So I think that spirituality is definitely a big thing. Plus, when it comes to this whole hot sauce situation, I think that it kind of removed some things from some people, because I don't think that some people could even see that who they're looking at as people of God are actually leading them down the path of destruction. Jamal Bryant, Al Sharpton, the list goes on and on and on. At this point, they're already telling you that they're robbing you. They're literally shaming people for not being able to give $10,000. We saw a lady, a couple of weeks ago who proved that by calling churches, she can't even get milk for her baby.
Close the doors. Close the doors. Close the
doors.
Close
Joel
the doors.
Osteen.
Close the doors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot. So that's why I'm saying I think 2020 overall, no matter how negative or how much bad came out of it, I also look at the positive side of it. I'm a Libra. I look at the scales. The positive side of it is I think that it let people know what they're going to tolerate and what they're not going to tolerate. From the government, from their family, from work, everything. So, I mean, like, what do you all think we could do in order to really officially heal, or is that even an option? Are we so far gone that we ain't going to never heal from this shit?
Nah, got to keep doing this. As long as we keep doing this, we'll get through to somebody. It's a slow burn, but it's worth it because people are searching for things like this, and they need that. Like I always go back to authenticity. They need that, and that's not what they're getting. And we can attract people with our authenticity. That shit matters.
True.
Well, Jesus left the 99 to go save the one. Jesus left the 99 to go save the one.
Listen, I don't think people understand how gangster Jesus was. And I feel like when you learn the walk of the Messiah on your own, you look at things totally different, man.
Mm-hmm.
You really, really do. You really look like Jesus was gangster. Like straight up. He hung out with the pimps, the thieves, the prostitutes, the people that couldn't see. Because how are you going to be able to save sick people if you don't hang out with the sick? And I think that a lot of people really kind of figured out that they got a Jesus within them that they need to start seeking more than the one that's outside of them. So my question is, do we still believe in the Bible, or should we still believe in it? Absolutely. Still believe in the Bible. In my opinion, I would recommend looking into the Ethiopian Bible, me personally. It's all the books that you need. And I also look at the fact that, like, man, really, I follow the laws of Ma'at, right? And it's basic common sense. We have common sense. You know what's wrong and what's not. You know that you're not supposed to steal from people. You know you're not supposed to kill people. You shouldn't be sleeping with somebody's husband. Shouldn't be sleeping with somebody's wife. You know basic common knowledge what you're supposed to be doing and what you're not. It's good to go to the Bible to kind of reference what we're going through in this current reality, because we are living through a time of prophecy. But I also believe that you got to know, if we're learning that history itself has been an epic failure and full of lies and deceit, why wouldn't the Bible with 66 books also have a few edited things in there as well? So I would personally just say, look deeper. Look deeper.
I agree, because it was translated from Arabic by the Grecians, and then from Greek into English. And Whoever King James is the one
King
who
James.
decided what was going to be in the Bible version that most of us have to begin with. Now, I'm Messianic. I look at different books.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate Mark. You got anything? Any last words?
I think that this created a wonderful opportunity for people to really evaluate their faith.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close it out. We ran totally over. I'm so sorry, everybody, but I'm glad we was able to have this conversation. Very structured conversation. I learned a lot. I hope that everybody who's listening also learned a lot. Make sure you all follow Tammy. Tammy, can you give them where they can find you on social media, please?
LinkedIn, Tammy Murabin. Real easy.
Mark, you as well?
Yeah, y'all can find me at Mark_model at TikTok, and also Your Mama's Fave on TikTok. Holla at me.
You trifling for that.
What? It's not like bad. Like I'm your mama's. Everybody mama love me. How can look at this face? How could you not love me? Right? Come on, man. Everybody
I'm just playing with you. Go ahead, Fool.
Y'all know where I'm at, but I'm gonna reiterate this, and I'm gonna bounce. Make sure y'all watch V for Vendetta tonight. Just watch the movie, and I want to hear everybody's review because y'all gonna love it.
Wait, what was that name again? Something Vendetta.
V, the letter V for Vendetta. Okay. You can't mix it up with any other movie.
Okay, got
Absolutely. It. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Make sure you all follow everybody. Like the lives, share it with your people. We'll be back here next Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining the Realist Live. I said the Realist Live, the Realist Lounge, and we out. Have a good evening. Peace, y'all.
Where culture meets time.